Thank you very much, Kelly. The teams are in the tunnel. The winner of this one plays England in the semi-final on Wednesday. Will it be Russia? Will it be Croatia? And a very expectant host nation has been building up for this one ever since their dramatic penalty shootout win against Spain. Suddenly Russia has become very, very interested in this World Cup, and the feeling we get is that there are players, there are supporters, there are the general public for whom the World Cup was a big thing and a big build-up and a big whatever, but the prospect of Russia actually competing in it and getting to the latter stages was not really considered. This was a team who played 7 friendlies in the build-up to the World Cup and did not win any of them. At the moment inside the stadium, Luka Modric and Akinfeev, the Russian goalkeeper, up on the big screens, and they're doing the FIFA fair play message, and the crowd waiting and observing that in relative silence, and it's all building up to the arrival out onto the pitch of the teams here in Sochi. This is the south coast of Russia. This is where the Russians come on their holidays. We're right by the beach. It's been a beautiful day here, blue skies, sparkling sunshine, the perfect setting for a game of this enormity. And sitting alongside me in the commentary box, Dion Dublin, we can see on our monitors the images of the faces in the tunnel. There's no smiles down there. This has suddenly become the business end of the tournament. This is serious stuff now.
Yes, thank you very much. No friends, I'm afraid. This is the big one. We want to win. I don't want to be your friend for this 90 minutes, 95 minutes. You normally get a few handshakes and a few hand slaps with the opposing team if they play on the same team as you, but nobody looked over their left shoulder, over their right shoulder. It's one of these games that they both have to win. So, for tonight, you can be an enemy.
Here they come out onto the pitch, and it's the 4th game in a row at this World Cup that Croatia will be wearing their lucky black kit. They played the opening match in their regular red and white check shirts, but since then it's been black all the way. It's become a lucky omen for them, and one they hope will carry them through to the semi-finals of this World Cup at a date with destiny against England. The crowd here, as you would expect, dominated by the host nation. What an atmosphere here in Sochi. Russia against Croatia coming up. An enormous banner was unfurled away to our left. It translates as when, if not now, a mood that I think England fans have had for a couple of weeks, and will begin to build upon a mood that the Russian supporters have. They want to play England in the semi-finals. We are very close to kick-off here. Thank you very much. The two teams go into formation for their team pictures, and this is one you want to be at. If you're a Russian, if you're a Croat, you want to be here tonight. They both had to go through the anguish of a penalty shootout to get here. Who knows what drama is coming our way? And let's face it, Dion, and I know it was nerve-wracking for England supporters at times, but that was as relative a straightforward a game as we've seen at this World Cup, England-Sweden. Is the fireworks about to return here of some of the more dramatic games we've seen at this competition?
I think there is. I think these two teams want it enormously. Why wouldn't they? The World Cup semi-finals is their next game, or one of these teams will be going through. You're right, it looked like a formality, the England performance, but I think it was down to preparation. I think it was down to organisation. I think it was down to individual personnel doing their job to the letter. But I still think there's more from England.
Two captains, Akinfeev, Igor Akinfeev on his 111th cap, the CSKA Moscow goalkeeper, the man who saved the famous penalty with his feet that put Russia into this quarter-final. He shakes hands with Luka Modric, who went through the ringer himself. He missed a penalty in extra time against Denmark, but he stood up and he put his kick away in the shootout. And what an important figure he is for Croatia tonight.
You know what? He'll be the catalyst. You know, Russia know that, and Russia know how good Luka Modric is. They'll allow him to have the ball in certain areas, not in dangerous areas. I'm expecting Rakitic, Perisic, Modric to be under so much pressure when they get the ball in their attacking final third. So let's see how they approach this one. Russia, we're looking at the moment now, but they've not kicked off yet, but they've got into a 4-4-2.
So who'll be the two up with Zuba?
Well, you know what? I honestly think that they might leave him there on his own, but they will. I think Cheryshev will get close to him because he's got a goal in him, and Golovin is the player that they'll look to be their creative player. He'll get as close as he possibly can to Zuba. Zuba will be up there with one very close in behind him, get lots of support up to him, and I think you'll have the runs of Cheryshev and Golovin in behind him.
So quick to the teams. Akinfeev, the goalkeeper for Russia, back for Mario Fernandez, Brazilian board, Ignashevich, Kuchupov and Kudryashov, with Zobnin and Kuzayev in the middle of the midfield, Samedov, Golovin, Cheryshev in support of big Artem Juba up front, who's already got 3 goals at this World Cup. For Croatia, their team, Subasic, their hero in the shootout, the Monaco goalkeeper, as we get underway. Vrsaljko, Lovren of Liverpool, Vida and Strinic, with Rakitic and Modric, that El Clasico pairing in the middle of the midfield. Rebic on the right, Perisic on the left, Kramaric in support of Mario Mandzukic of Juventus up front, as Vida rolls the ball back to Subasic. Croatia will start this game playing from right to left as we look down, dressed all in black with a red trim. Russia are in their red shirts, white shorts, red socks with a blue trim, tackles flying in the middle of the midfield. Strinic lunges out, ball goes out of play, and the first throw it is for Russia. 0-0, we're underway.
I think we've seen more tackles than we did in the England game already. They're flying in. Looking very relaxed at the moment, Croatia.
Zuba wins a header, Dion Dublin's favourite player of this World Cup.
Oh yes.
And immediately a collision as Golovin goes into Vida. Vida's a big burly central defender, and he doesn't want to show any pain. He bounces back up off the ground, and no Neymar antics with him. He wants to get on with it. Croatia bring it up towards the halfway line. Dejan Lovren onto Vrsaljko of Atletico Madrid. And back into the 2 central defenders again. Lovren through Vida. And now on the left-hand side, Croatia come over the halfway line. Russia allowing them have it in the central area. But then the challenges come in, and Roman Zobnin immediately into win possession for Russia, who'll play it forward through Golovin, up towards Zuba. Listen to the noise of the crowd. Arriving is Cheryshev in the penalty area. He tries to shoot. It's deflected away off Vrsaljko, and they want to corner Russia, but that's going to go for a goal kick.
That is good play from Russia, being really patient there. And that was Zuba just dropping off. He was about 10 yards away from the 18-yard line, and he just seen his fellow striker there just nudge it through the legs of the man that was marking him, Zuba, put it into the path of him, and what he did, he tried to get his shot off, but his defender was too close. I thought he actually blocked it. It may have been a corner.
This match is the 6th and the last to be played in Sochi at this tournament. It's a venue that's got a very strong claim to have held the most entertaining of the games so far. Some brilliant games here. Remember Ronaldo's hat-trick, the 3-3 draw Spain-Portugal. That was here in Sochi. The late Toni Kroos goal for Germany right at the death. That was here. We were here for the Uruguay-Portugal game, which was a belter. And we're hoping, Dion, they've saved the best for last. 0-0 for now.
Yes, it's going to be fireworks without a doubt, because this first few minutes that we've seen is 100 mile an hour. There's no football being allowed to be played because the person on the ball has had no time whatsoever. The keepers are taking their time on the ball, I've got to say.
He's played 2 minutes, 0-0. And that banner that Russian fans unfurled before kickoff, it really does sum it up, I think, for everyone on this side of the draw. In fact, maybe for all the teams left in the competition. The banner said, when, if not now? When will you get an opportunity to go into semi-finals that doesn't have Brazil, doesn't have Germany, doesn't have Argentina? That's never happened before in a World Cup. When, if not now?
You know what? And all these teams are here on merit. The Argentinas, the Brazils, the Spains, they've gone out because they weren't good enough. It's as simple as that. They were beaten by better sides. Better organised sides. And that's why they're here.
Kuchupov plays it forward for Russia down the right channel. Mario Fernandez had gone forward down that right-hand side. The player who in the past refused to call up from Brazil. And here he is playing for Russia at a World Cup. Not many people turned down the chance to play for Brazil, but he can point to the fact that he's now gone further than the country of his birth in this tournament. Another throw in left full-back position for Croatia. Ivan Strinic of Sampdoria, but he's already agreed to join AC Milan after this World Cup. He takes the throw, not great distance on it, flicked on by Perisic towards Mandzukic, fails to keep it in play. Throw into Russia, cheer from a few Russians down below us. They'll take anything, they'll cheer a throw in. Every little bit counts, and a big break deal like this as the ball is thrown towards Juba. He wins the header again. Zobnin has made a good run in. Golovin with the cross, just too high for Cheryshev. Comes down for Juba. Crashing volley into the upper body of Dejan Lovren. and that does go out for a Russian corner on the right-hand side, 0-0.
Wow, that was good play. It just seemed to fall to Zuba on the angle about 15 yards out, but Lovren stood, didn't turn his back, half turned his back, hit him on the hip. That's good defending, and Zuba there getting his first half chance. Russia have a corner.
Full blast, point blank range into the hip of Dejan Lovren. He will have an imprint of that ball for several weeks on his hip as the corner is played in. Goleman, they try to rehearse move towards the edge of the penalty area. Good covering by Barcelona's Ivan Rakitic. Russia with a loose header on the halfway line from Kudryashov. And that's kept in play on the far side by Vrsaljko. So Croatia have it. They have had more of the ball in the early stages, but there's that fizz of electricity. Whenever Russia come forward, they come forward a million miles an hour. It's all thrusts and all afterburners, and Zuba there with a shot that, had it not been blocked away by Lovren, well, who knows, because he was only about 10 yards out.
You can see Vrsaljko there, he gets the ball, the first thing he does is looking for Rakitic, he's looking for Modric. They are so deep, they are the ones that will be starting all the moves for Croatia.
The one change in the Croatia team tonight, Andrej Kramaric, once briefly of Leicester City, comes in. He's taken the place of Marcelo Brozovic of Inter Milan. He's a more attacking player than the deep line midfielder who's replaces Vrsaljko. Plays it into the penalty area looking for Rebic. Rebic always managed to hold off the defender. He's in here, turns it, faces, lashes it across the face of goal. And Igor Akinfeev dives low and puts it out for a corner.
What great skill from Rebic there, actually holding off the defender, really making it difficult. He gets the better of him, and then he pins it at the near post. Didn't have a teammate getting across the keeper. Keeper does well.
Corner to Croatia. The referee, as they all have been doing at this tournament, is telling players, do not hold on to your opponent as this ball comes in. We've seen England benefit with penalties from that sort of situation. Lovren's jostling for space. Mandzukic is an obvious target. Here comes the delivery from Luka Modric. Lovren's header flicked on again and up and over the top. It wasn't too far away at all. It was Rebic, and he needed it 1 foot lower.
Yeah, that's an outswinger there from Modric, actually looking for the two centre halves. It was Lovren on this occasion. Lovren can't head for goal because he's being held. He hems it towards the penalty spot just to keep it in play, but it gets heavy over the bar. Really difficult them ones when they're slightly behind you. You've got to put direction and power on them.
Russia 0, Croatia 0. This is 5 Live for the BBC. We're also live this evening on BBC Sport Online and the BBC World Service across Africa, as here comes Samedov towards the edge of the D, but he loses it immediately, and the loose ball rolls through to the Croatia goalkeeper Subasic. Well, if you don't know the permutations by now, and I don't think there'll be many who don't, but the winner of this game plays England in the semi-final on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a huge prize for any of these teams that we're watching here, and the game started and then it feels as though it's an enormous game for these two sides.
Ball played forward by Subasic out towards the right wing. He was looking for Rebic, comes straight back to him. And Daniel Subasic, the Monaco goalkeeper, what a great tournament he's had so far. Bowls the ball out, underarm, low to Domagoj Vida, the only Croatia player who's played every minute of the qualifying campaign and been involved here at the World Cup itself, as Luka Modric controls the ball effortlessly. Lovely player to watch, Modric of Real Madrid. Gives it out to Vrsaljko on the right-hand side. Back into the Croatia captain Modric. Now back to the centre circle, where Vida will turn and give it low to the near touchline. Ivan Strinic is up from left back, closed down low by Samedov. Croatia go back into the centre circle again, and Modric, like the quarterback, receives it and pings it out to a wide receiver. Lovren low to Modric, who's sitting right in between the two central defenders of the moment. He wants to dictate play with everything in front of him. Lovren has possession, doesn't fancy any sort of high-risk pass forward. He'll take the easy option back to Modric. Zuba comes across, Croatia forced into their own half again. Then a crunching challenge comes in from Samedov. That's too rash, that's going to be a free kick. But Russia not allowing Croatia into their half without a challenge, as Rakitic takes the free kick quickly, drills it out to the far side. Vrsaljko, brilliant ball into the middle. Arriving was Kramaric, and he couldn't quite get there. Mandzukic was also sniffing around. Russia relieved to get it away.
Vrsaljko, what a ball, what a crossfield ball that was. Unbelievable. First time, he's on the right wing, he's in the final third, it comes to him on the volley. You think, shall I take a touch? No, I'm going to put this in first time, give my forwards every chance of scoring. Mandzukic just couldn't get there on this occasion.
0-0 in Sochi, warm temperatures, but there is a bit of a breeze whipping in off the nearby sea. Not sure how much the players will be feeling that, but we get a welcome little draft of breeze every now and again high here in the stand as the ball is controlled by Khrushchev. He plays it forward over the halfway line. Lovren with a spring in his heels off his white boots, gets up, cushion header down. Modric controls it well under pressure. Russia fall back into a defensive formation. Strinic comes forward on the left hand side. Good ball to pick out Perisic, crossing position on the left hand side. Mario Fernandes gets close, blocks the cross, throw into Russia on the left.
Yes, this will be an in-swinger, I would imagine, from Luka Modric, just jogging over to take this in-swinging corner. And every single Russia player is back in their own box, ready to defend. There's 3 players of Croatia outside the box. Right on the edge of the D, you've got Rakitic right on the edge there, waiting for any loose balls to come out. It is Modric, and you can hear the boos from the Croatian fans.
Russia fans a little bit anxious. This corner to Croatia. We've seen so many goals of this World Cup from set pieces and corners in particular. Drilled in, big Zuma wins the header on the edge of the 6-yard box. A chance of a counter-attack here, just maybe for Russia, as Golovin battles for it. Strong play though by Strinic, held his ground under pressure, then tries to take the free kick quickly. Khrushchev hadn't retreated. Referee says get back 10 yards. It will be the free kick to Croatia near the halfway line. By the way, the latest from Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic leads Kyle Edmund 3-2 on the break of the third set. 1 set each in that one. Top seed Simona Halep is out today. You can watch that right now on BBC One. But here on 5 Live, we are concentrating on the World Cup, and we are watching England's opponent in the semi-final. We just don't know which it's going to be yet, as Rebic does a good turn. He's had a bright start to the game, brings Vrsaljko into it down the right hand side. Here comes the low cross. Arriving was Mandzukic, and he was well challenged just as he tried to strike it. Ignashevich leaned into him. That goes out for a goal kick to Russia.
That is really good play there from Rebic, middle of the park, just holding off the attention of the Russian midfielder there, just brushing off with his left hand, spins him round, gets the better of him, puts in Vrsaljko, and then you've got Mandzukic. He just didn't catch it. If he'd have just taken his time, used his right foot and side-footed it, he just snatched at that one. Another chance created though.
Here come Russia over the halfway line. Ball played forward by Roman Zobnin. Croatia get it back, and their midfield, much lauded, much anticipated from them tonight, and they have been strong, very strong so far. Rakitic, Modric, Rebic, Perisic, they're all getting involved. Russia tried to build their way out of their own half. Zobnin to the near touchline to Mario Fernandes. He's got the white boots on. Back in field to Khrushchev. Sends an aimless crossfield ball. He's put way too much on that. There's a shrug out there from the Golovin, who got out there. He says, what am I supposed to do with that, as it sails over his head and goes out for a throw into Croatia. Right full back position for that. Russia 0, Croatia 0.
Yes, I think they should just be a little bit more patient. Russia got out of their own third really well, played some really good football. They were under pressure, but they didn't panic. Got into the middle third, and then they thought, well, we can't keep hitting the big man. Let's try a cross for your ball. It just went all wrong. They've got to just play a couple of more small passes, short passes in the final third.
Of big interest to England in this semi-final is that there are several players on both sides who would miss the semi should they pick up a yellow card here. Rakitic is one of them, probably the highest profile, but Golovin is in that position. Kuchepov, the central defender for Russia. Zobnin, will give you the full list as the night goes on. Here comes Vrsaljko, who's been playing like a right winger so far, the right back. He gets a cross in. Ignashevich is there, clears away, controlled by Golovin. Well kept in play, and a glorious ball to send Zuma away. That was a brilliant pass from Golovin. Zuma turns around Rakitic into a shooting position, but he's not selfish. He holds it up for Semenov. Here comes a cross from the right hand side. Good challenge in the air by Lovren, and Croatia calmed that down, but it looked nervous for a moment.
Should have been selfish. He had to be selfish there. He's done so well. He's gone into like a channel, left wing position into the channel there. He's allowed to turn. He has 3 touches, puts himself into a shooting position, albeit is 22, 23 yards out. Take the shot on, big man.
That's the voice of Dion Dublin watching this game of the here on 5 Live, as a foul is committed on Rebic on the far side. Free kick to Croatia midway into Russian territory. This is a game that has been played at 100 miles an hour and fully committed tackles so far. We've yet to have the first clear shot at goal, although Zuba had an effort that was blocked away by Dejan Lovren.
Shevich there, he's been down the right hand side 3 times, and he's got a cross in every single time down the right hand side of for Croatia. They're looking incredibly dangerous. They have nothing down the left-hand side at all.
Croatia have sent up the two big central defenders. Vida's up there. Lovren, Dejan Lovren, who celebrated his 29th birthday on Thursday. He's up in the penalty area as well. And they all wait patiently. Here comes the delivery from Ivan Rakitic. Good ball in, comes off the back of the head of Ignacevic. It actually fell for Rebic, but he wasn't able to drill it back in. The right winger who had popped up on the back post, the left-hand side as Croatia come forward. Here he is now on the ball, 10 yards shy of the penalty area, surrounded by four defenders. Surges through, it's a great run. He's tackled by Kuchepov. Referee says that's a foul. Free kick to Croatia in what might be a shooting position.
Yeah, that is an unbelievable piece of skill there. He's gone by 3 players, 4 players. That is just an amazing piece of skill. That's Rebic there going down the left-hand side. I'm saying there's nothing come from the left. That's the first one. He's gone by 4 players with a bit of foot-to-foot action. And they've got a free kick in a really interesting area. Can they shoot from this, or will they cross it?
This World Cup, which has become a contest between European nations, and Croatia, who've only once lost to a European country at a World Cup. France beat them semi-finals in 1998, but any other time it's been a country from a different continent. Now, this is a wide angle. It's close to the edge of the penalty area left-hand side, but all the same, Akinfeev has built a 3-man wall, and Rakitic is giving it a look here.
I think he needs a 4-man wall, I do.
Yeah, that wall looks slender. Rakitic with the bright yellow boots. Looks like he's only going to take a short run up. He comes back and places the ball carefully once again, like a golfer putting it on a tee. Wants it to be just right. Here he comes, goes for goal, and too high from Rakitic. We played quarter of an hour in Sochi. Russia 0, Croatia 0 on 5 Live.
Yeah, you know, as a goalkeeper, you're thinking to yourself, well, who's going to take this one? Is it going to be Kramaric? Is it going to be Modric? There's so much quality in that midfield. It was Rakitic in the end, and he went high and wide. But I thought the wall was a bit slender. If the free kick was any better, I think he might hit the target.
We are watching Russia against Croatia. The winner will face England in the semi-final on Wednesday, and Sergei Ignacevic, the veteran, the man who they've dragged out of retirement to play in this World Cup, plays a good ball down the right wing, kept in play by Mario Fernandes into the penalty. Semedo's got a good first touch, but then he can't get onto it with his second, and out comes the goalkeeper Subasic, and he makes the save.
Yeah, that's a great ball into the corner there. Fantastic ball, and just keeps it in. But he just couldn't find the teammate, unfortunately.
Earlier on today, Sweden 0, England 2 in Samara. Here, both Russia and Croatia have made one change to their starting lineups from the last 16. Russia, who beat Spain, Croatia, who beat Denmark. For both these countries, it was the first time they had won a penalty shootout at a World Cup. Vida wins a header here, sends it to the halfway line. Kramaric is drilled into by Mario Fernandes from behind. Referee says it's a fair challenge. Strinic plays it forward, high for Croatia. One in the air by Kuchepov. And then the referee blows a whistle for a foul on Mandzukic. And that is a free to Croatia on the halfway line, left-hand side as they come forward, and they want to get on with it. Strinic takes it quickly into Rakitic, releases Luka Modric. Injection of pace as he comes over the halfway line, rolls the ball in front of Sime Vrsaljko. He's midway inside the Russia half, and he doesn't see any easy access route forward, so he turns and gives it back to Lovren on the halfway line.
Yeah, I'm watching Mandzukic here. He's just putting himself in between Kuchepov and Ignacevic, just making sure they know that he's there. That keeps the two centre-halves together, leaves more space down the wing, which they're using well, actually, Croatia.
Russia, who are under a bit of pressure at the moment, but relieved to see the ball go out of play for a throw into the host nation on the far side, but it's taken way too quickly by Cheryshev. He just threw the ball straight at Modric.
They've done that a couple of times now, Conor. They've given the ball away sloppily, Russia. When they get it back, they won't have a lot of ball in this game, so keep hold of it when you get it.
You can tell the adrenaline is rushing through the veins of the host nation here. They're piling into everything. They're doing everything really, really quickly. And sometimes, as we know, it's less haste, more speed, but a great atmosphere being created by the crowd here. They're doing the sort of Icelandic type clap, and it's echoing through the air in Sochi. 0-0 so far, 19 minutes on the clock. Lovren comes forward for Croatia down that right channel. He's got Vrsaljko outside him on the right hand side. Good challenge by Cheryshev. That makes up for the wasted throw it. Now they've got a counter-attack on. Juba wants it played through. Cheryshev doesn't play it though. Lovren is able to slide in. He almost had too much time there, Cheryshev. He couldn't make up his mind what he wanted to do.
Yeah, Vrsaljko the right back, should I say, going down the left-hand side for Russia. He's had it 4 times. 3 times he's got it. On this occasion, he was closed down quickly. Russia get to attack, but not with any pace, not with any venom.
It's 0-0. Kramaric is easily outmuscled near the halfway line. Big Zuba picks it up, but Vida stretches it on him, and then a lovely swing of the hips from Rakitic to create a bit of space. And then I thought he was fouled there by Kujaev, but the referee says no. The ball careers out of play down by the corner flag. That will be a goal kick to Russia.
That's just Russia actually putting that midfield of Croatia under a little bit of pressure, not allowing them to keep hold of the ball, making sure that they know that they can't have the run of this game. They're easing their way into this game, Russia. Just got to be a little bit more patient in the middle third. In their own final third, please feel free to defend, but you've got to have a bit more quality in the middle third.
This is the last of the quarterfinals. We already know France, Belgium and England are there. Will it be Russia or Croatia to join them? Vida has possession on this warm, sweltering night in Sochi. Lovren to Vrsaljko on the right-hand side, 20 yards inside the Croatia half. Croatia playing from right to left as we look down. Vrsaljko, calm ball back to Lovren, turns and gives it back to Subasic. And then a right-footed clearance from the goalkeeper wearing all green. Floats up over the halfway line. Kudryashov was able to head the ball away, and he gets another header on it. Vida jumps. Quite a lot of this game has been played in the air. It's back down the deck with Zobnin. Rolls it out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball, actually. Cheryshev can come forward to the feet of Zubel, the centre forward. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Lays it back into the midfield. Zobnin tries the crossfield ball. Mario Fernandes was his target. Didn't get the angle right, and that harmlessly goes out for a goal kick to Croatia.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying there. Cheryshev just played it into that area that Zuba can hold on to the ball. Lovren was close to him. He's holding him off. All he wants now is to bring one of his teammates in. And then Zobnin tries an impossible ball, a crossfield ball. It was completely mishit. That's where you have to take your time and pick a pass.
We were told before the game that the Russian president, we think, was going to be here tonight. We haven't seen him on the big screens yet, but it's got a sense of enormous occasion for Russia here. Been tight so far. Croatia with most of the possession, 68%. But Russia, as they do, looking dangerous on the attack, and as they showed against Spain, they don't need to create many chances themselves. If they do get one, as long as they take it, that will do them. They're never going to pepper the opposition goal with shots. Here is Ignashevich, hooks it forward from the halfway line, high and oval, loops over the top of Vrsaljko, and out comes the goalkeeper. Subasic, and Croatia have it at the back again.
Ignashevich, number 4 for Russia, not taking any mess in, centre half, left side. He's had the ball at his feet 3 or 4 times now. Twice he said, right, get rid of it, get up the pitch. I'm going to defend like that for you. You do the rest of the work. I'll just be that warhorse for you.
Mandzukic wins a good header inside the Russian half, but he can't pick out a teammate. Modric now collects it bang on the centre circle. Little change of direction, gives it low to the feet of Rebic, who's coming to a more central location just now. At the moment, Kramaric is sort of floating all over the place. He's kind of like a loose number 10. For a player who's got the number 9 on his back, and one who we're used to seeing playing up top as a target man. He's got this floating role. I'm not quite sure they're getting the best out of him at the moment, but we're midway through the first half as things stand, and we're no closer to knowing who England will play in the semi just yet. 0-0 here. By the way, in the tennis, Djokovic leads Kyle Edmund 2-1 now in sets at Wimbledon. You can watch that on BBC One. You can listen on 5 Live Sports Extra. It's also on the BBC Sport website right now.
Being patient, Russia. When they haven't got the ball, they're choosing the right time to squeeze Croatia. They've got a strict back 4 at the moment, and it's not being moved at all by the Croatian players. They're happy with that so far.
And Mandzukic jumps, can't get a touch on it. Vrsaljko will help it to him. Mandzukic now drills in across along the edge of the penalty area, and very confidently Mario Fernandes just chests it back to the goalkeeper. Back in 5.
I think it might have even been a little bit of a shoulder. He might have shouldered that back, Fernandes, there, back to his keeper.
Well, he was born in Brazil.
Yeah, well, there you go, then it was a shoulder then, without a doubt. There's no mistaking it.
Akinfeev throws the ball out, the man who's become the face, if you like, the poster boy for Russia's success in this tournament so far. There was a special rubles banknote that was printed ahead of the World Cup. This is before any games were played. and there's a little image like a watermark was put into it, and what it's meant to be is a player hitting a left-footed volley. That's what it's supposed to be, a striker go for goal. But it is identical, Dion Dublin, to the shape that Akinfeev made as he dived to his right and kicked the ball away to save the penalty. It's as if it was meant to be.
You know, when I've seen it, I've only seen one. When I've seen it, I thought to myself, they've got that done pretty quickly, haven't they? How have they got that note sorted sharpish? But is coincidence, or is it coincidence? Is it in the stars? Is it in the stars?
How much of this is preordained? Akinfeev dramatically saving the penalty with his foot, and they just happen to have that exact image printed on a note. By the way, as players just here in the middle of the midfield, Rakitic battling for it, Mario Fernandes not giving up the ghost, in comes to help him Semedo, but eventually the referee had to blow his whistle. They were kicking lumps out of each other, and that will be a free kick to Croatia midway inside their own half. I was reading today, Dion, that they've already announced if Russia win this game, they are printing commemorative coins with the fact that they're into the semi-final. It'll have a half symbol, a 1/2 symbol on the coin to celebrate getting into the semi. So that is ready to go if Russia win this game.
It doesn't surprise me at all. This country has gone crazy for the World Cup. They really have come out in their numbers again tonight. They're trying to start a Mexican wave, bang opposite us. Here we're sat above the dugouts, far standard trying. They want a bit more from this game. That's what normally happens, isn't it? When the game's not great, they start to try and do a Mexican wave.
Well, Russia, who played attacking football in the group stages, we commentated on their opening match with the Luzhniki in Moscow. It feels a long time ago now, the 14th of June. And they played very attacking there. They continued that against Egypt, and then they were beaten by Uruguay, and then they switched everything and they went ultra defensive against Spain, but they got the job done. What have you made now that we've played 25 minutes here? How would you describe their tactics tonight?
I think what they're doing at the moment, they're sort of playing a cat and mouse game with Croatia, allowing them to have the ball in certain areas, but when they get too close to their goal, they are squeezing them down in numbers as well. They must have worked on it in training.
Strinic comes down the left-hand side. Perisic of Inter Milan, who has scored in this World Cup. He got a beauty against Iceland in the group stage. And they ping it out towards the right wing where Versalco had made a good run, but he doesn't quite get there still. He turns and he raises a thumbs up and he says, yeah, that's the sort of ball that I want to be cantering after down this right wing. It is 0-0 here in Sochi between Russia and Croatia on 5 Live, and the Russians continuing to make a huge noise. Throw-in taken by Kudryshov. Down that left side go Russia. Zuba will run after it all day long, but helped back ahead of him by Vida to the Croatia goalkeeper Subasic. And now Strinic onto Modric, and immediately tackled by Mario Fernandes, and Croatia being held back inside their own half.
They've got a trigger. I've noticed they've got a trigger here, Russia. What they're doing is when one player goes, i.e. Zuba on that occasion, there's 1 and 2 and 3. On the odd occasion, it's 4 players all going in to squeeze the playmakers, the Rakitic and the Modric, making sure that they can't get this game under their spell, so to speak. So they're making sure it's all uncomfortable for them, but they will not squeeze until there's a trigger. When one player goes, they all go.
Well, in this World Cup of crazy shocks, I don't know if there's been a bigger surprise than Russia beating Spain. And if they can get to the semi-final, well, let's see what happens here. Perisic, who's got over to the right wing at the moment for Croatia. Infield to Kramaric. Back short to Luka Modric, who spots that Versalco's got space on the right-hand side. Chance to turn and look up, and Perisic with a header, which he glanced, and maybe glanced too finely. It skids across the 6-yard box and goes wide for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's Luka Modric there, just keeping it nice and simple. Getting it out wide right. It's out wide right again, down that right. That right-hand side for Croatia, putting the ball in the box. There's 5, I'm watching the replay here, there's 5 black shirts in there wanting to score. Perisic getting in there as well, not quite getting enough on the header, but plenty of numbers in the box for Croatia.
Goal kick for Russia, 0-0. Igor Akinfeev, all dressed in blue, sends it high up over the halfway line, headed on by Zobnin into the penalty area. Semedo, he's managed to get it under his control, and then well tackled. Ivan Strinic, he didn't lunge in, he sort of just nipped in, didn't he? And he took the ball away from Semedo in the blink of an eye, and Croatia cleared it away, but then there's a push, and midway inside the Croatia half, Semedo goes down, and that will be a free kick to Russia, a crossing position, which Zuba will say, come on, get it in on my forehead.
Yes, and rightly so. You know, they're just timing their runs right. Semedo there, running off the back of Zuba, the big lad. And you've got Golovin getting in there, Cheryshev as well getting in there. If if they put this in the right area, they've got some really big lads, Russia. They really have. And this is going to be an in-swinger from the right-hand side for Russia.
Cheryshev, who was born in Spain, his father was a professional footballer with Gion, swings it in, too much in-swinging. It becomes a shot on target, but frankly with the pace of a cross and easily dealt with by Subasic. Cheryshev, who scored the opening goal of this World Cup, but he needed to do better to pick out one of his teammates there.
Yeah, he just put a bit too much whip on it that time. Cheryshev, he should have just left it sort of penalty spot area, give his teammates a chance, too close to the keeper. Keeper actually caught it, then dropped it. I thought, oh no, not again, not another keeping mistake.
Zobnin from 5 yards outside the penalty area rolls it back to Akinfeev, and then cleared up over the halfway line where Zuba is accused of fouling Luka Modric. That's quite a mismatch in the air between those two, by the way.
I'm just looking at them now. Zuba saying, what have I done, referee? His shoulders are all hunched. As if to say, I've not done anything.
Here come Croatia. Kramaric tackled again very easily. Russia have it with Kujaev. Gives it to the left-hand side. Kudryashov over the halfway line, left-footed, looking for Zuba. It's a bad ball. Zuba stretched out his leg, tried to control it. Vida did just enough and helped by Lovren. They cleared it away.
The ball beat Lovren. Zuba's in between. Vida comes round. Zuba can't actually see Vida coming, so he takes it off. That's great defending, that is, from Vida, making sure that he doesn't get it on his chest and get a shot off.
Cleared away by Subasic. Russia 0, Croatia 0. We have reached the half-hour mark. Ignashevich clears away, up over the halfway line. Controlled by Zobnin, forward to the feet of Zuba. Played back to Cheryshev. Chance for him to shoot! Oh my word! Cheryshev scores for Russia! As things stand, it's England-Russia in the semi-final, because Cheryshev, with 31 minutes on the clock, has made it Russia 1, Croatia 0, with an absolute screamer.
Oh my word, what a strike from Cheryshev. Oh, he just seems to nip in front of the midfield player. He passes it roundly with his right foot. Watching the replay here, gets nodded down by the big fella. Cheryshev plays it into him. I think it's into Zuba, plays it 1-2 with Zuba. And he's got to be 25 yards out. Right on the edge of the D. Left-footed, curls it past the keeper. The keeper's got no chance. The first touch is outstanding. The second touch is even better.
He rides the challenge of Modric. He skips away from Vida. He spins it into the top corner. And what a World Cup Denis Cheryshev is having. That's his 4th goal now of the tournament. What a World Cup Russia are having on home soil.
He could have his own goal of the tournament, Cheryshev. He scored some unbelievable goals. And we've seen the 3rd one now we've seen. It's just incredible.
What are we witnessing here? As down the other end, Rebic tries to shoot for Croatia. And make no mistake, they are shook. They are absolutely shook. This was not in the script for Croatia. And their team of big superstars, Modric and Rakitic and Mandzukic, and they play for some of the biggest clubs in Europe. But Russia.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've said it before. I don't care how good you are. If you don't put the work in first and foremost, all that talent, it will not earn the right to play. They haven't earned the right to play yet, Croatia. No way.
When we commentated on the opening game, it was Russia, Saudi Arabia, where we said these are the 2 lowest ranked nations at this World Cup. That is how far Russia have come. And boy, if they haven't been getting carried away yet, the Russia fans are completely beginning to believe. Forget about it's coming home. They think it's staying right here.
Yeah, the flags are above their heads now. The scarves, they're waving around their heads. You can just start to hear a drummer trying to get some songs going for the Russian fans. But you know what they've done? They've stuck to their game plan. You 4 defenders stay there, and you leave the other 6 players to win the game. Ignashevich is just staying there. It's unbelievable.
So we've played 33 minutes. Croatia, who've yet to have a dangerous shot on target. They might do now, though, as a cross comes in from the right-hand side. Perisic jumps and wins the header. Ignashevich takes no chances at all. It probably would have got out for a goal kick, but he wasn't going to take the risk, and he heads it out for a corner to Croatia. But they've had so much possession. They've had 66 to 34. However, Russia, one big opportunity, bang, back of the net.
Yeah, and that's all they need. And now what they'll do, they'll just defend this outswinging corner from Modric, every single Russian player in the box.
Luka Modric to take. A lot of players that they're sort of doing the routine that England do, lining up players near the penalty spot. Here comes Modric's delivery, outswinging with the right boot and headed away in there. I think Mario Fernandes got the big touch on it. It comes back in towards Mandzukic. He can't get control. Headed forward by Rakitic. Very clever header. Back out to Modric. You take him the corner on the right-hand side. He's right on the corner angle of the penalty area. Croatia have still got plenty players up from the corner kick as the left-footed cross comes in. Not a great delivery, though, on that occasion. And it's cleared away. And Russia's attempts to come on the counter-attack are thwarted as Lovren fouls Zuba. And he will pick up a yellow card for his trouble. Dejan Lovren, the first booking of the game.
That is fantastic centre-forward play. Just putting himself in between the defender and the ball, knowing full well that if Lovren wants to get to the ball, he's going to have to go through the big fella. He does it, and he fouls him. The referee's just called him to have a chat, got the yellow card.
Lovren not one of those who would miss the semi should he pick up a booking tonight. But Russia in front in the quarter-final, 10 minutes to go to half-time. The last 5 times that host nations have reached the quarterfinals, they've always gone through to the semis. Here is Mario Fernandes down the right hand side, great ball in. Semedo tried to flick it almost like a half bicycle kick there, and he didn't get the distance on it he needed. But Mario Fernandes will get another chance to cross. Oh, he should have just sent it in. He tried a little dink around Modric. He just wanted to skip the ball forward. It's like a dummy of a cross. It didn't work out at all. It goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a great little bit of play, to be fair. Fernandes just chipping it over the left back's head. You could see Semedo was there waiting. Semedo actually could have brought it down if he'd have had a shout to bring it down and maybe pick out one of his teammates in the box, but he rushed it. Didn't happen this time, but they're getting a little bit more joy. They're not having a lot of the ball, Russia, but when they do have it, they're using it well.
Croatia chasing the game now, 1-0 down in Sochi. Vida clears it away left-footed. Kuchapov is only 24, but he's a big, muscly central defender. Heads it clear. Zuba goes to ground again. Again, he's been fouled, and Croatia getting frustrated now. Strinic is the latest to commit the foul. They're getting struck in Croatia, but they're being punished for their vigour.
Yeah, he's doing all the dirty work. The big fella really is doing well. And Kuchapov and Ignashevich as well. They're not going anywhere. The only time they go, or they're not by each other's side, is when they go forward like this. There's going to be a long ball into the box. 2 centre-halves will go up with the big man as well. And they'll leave one player back. But that little partnership we've got there, the young lad and an old man, he knows all about the game. He's teaching this young boy how to defend.
Yeah, Kuchapov will do the running for Ignashevich. Here comes the free kick, played in by Kuchapov towards the back post. Ignashevich was the man who'd gone forward there. He tries all sorts of hooks and swings, and eventually he just puts the ball out for a goal kick to Croatia.
This will start to frustrate Croatia because they like to play the game out from the back. They've got a goal kick right now, and Russia have squeezed 3 players forward. What they've done, Croatia, they've had full-back left, full-back right, and they're trying to get it to feet, but they can't. Russia are well organised. Not pretty, but well organised.
The Russia coach, Stanislav Chercheshov, is down there. He's got his hands clasped behind his back. It's warm here, but he's wearing the full suit tonight. Kramaric just outside the penalty area. Croatia on the attack down the left-hand side. Pings in across, easily dealt with. Kuchapov can clear away. Croatia will come again. Strinic on the left-hand side. Can't pick out Mandzukic. Semedo, who's growing in influence in the game, tries to skip away from Strinic, and that's a second bad challenge in close proximity for Strinic, and he goes into the referee's notebook as well.
Yeah, they are being very workmanlike, Russia, but when they do get the ball, they're trying to play in the right way, trying to play in a way that suits them. Semedo there getting pulled back, and Strinic getting the yellow card. He actually he was involved in a foul on Zuba very recently as well. Look, he hasn't had a second yellow. That one was silly, that one. Very petulant.
Chercheshov down there, hands thrust into his pockets now. Shaven-headed, round face, trademark moustache. Looks like the sort of strong man in a cartoon circus. As Zuba heads the ball into the penalty area. Chance for Chercheshov. Shoots. Hits the side netting left-hand side. Chercheshov, it was never fully on for him there. He was stretching. But to be fair, there was no one across to either. That was probably the best he could do.
Yes, that's Zuba again, just knocking it down. Cheryshev gambling just in case he gets any bits and bobs in the box. It was just one of those that you get frustrated. It's bounced so high and you can't get to it because it's too high for you.
Strilic helps it on. Perisic gives it forward. Now this is Mandzukic. This is a chance into the penalty area for Croatia. Pulls it back and a header in. Kramaric! Andrej Kramaric, the former Leicester City man, scores the equaliser to briefly hush the Russian crowd, and the lead lasted for just 8 minutes. Cheryshev put Russia in front. Kramaric with a close-range header has made it 1-1.
Yeah, Kramaric was in the middle of the box, but Mandzukic was going down the left-hand side. He had 2 players to pick out. Ignashevich and Kutipov got dragged towards the middle of the goal because they thought the ball was going to be lifted into that area. It didn't. What a great little pick out there from Mandzukic. Sees his teammate. There you go. Have that one, Kramaric. 1-1. Game on.
Lovely finish by Kramaric. His 10th international goal. He's got a good record for the national team over the years. He only ever scored 5 goals in a Leicester shirt, but now playing in Germany with Hoffenheim, he timed his run to perfection there. It's the first time Croatia have got in around the back of the Russian defence, and crucially, they've made it count.
Yeah, and the first time they've got anything at all down this down their left-hand side. What they've done is they've got into an area. Mandzukic there, he does need a bit more help going forward. I think Perisic has got to be a bit closer to him. I think Rubic as well, who was on the far post that time, needs to be a bit closer. He's an isolated figure at the moment, Mandzukic. That's why he found himself out left.
So Andrej Kramaric, his first goal of this World Cup, maybe only in the team because Nikola Kalinic was sent home. We didn't hear that story. He refused to come on as a sub in the opening game, and the coach sent him home. So they've only got 22 in the squad now, Croatia. Kramaric starts tonight, set up by Mandzukic. He scores the goal that makes it 1-1, and how this game is poised now.
Yeah, level peggings. This is what they like, Russia. They don't mind a scrap. If that ball's going to be in any box at all, I'm going to get my head on it. They're all in there again, the centre halves. The big fella's going to be an in-swinger yet again.
Free kick to Russia, right wing. Cheryshev to take. Left-footed, puts a backspin on it. Oh, Zuba was very close that time. Lovren jumped well with it. Perisic in front, Lovren behind. They made Zuba the ham of the sandwich. Mario Fernandes manages to swoop around and swivel and play it back into the middle, and it sits up in front of Zuba, and it looks like he might have been fouled, but the referee says it's the other way round. Zuba had fouled the Croatian defender, and it's a free kick out to Croatia.
I don't know how that's a free kick, to be honest with you. He had 3 Croatians around him. I'm just watching that. Fernandes does great to keep it alive. He gets headed in. He's not offside.
He's not offside.
And I can't see how. He's got 3 Croatians around him. He brings it down on his chest.
It's a push on Lovren. Before the ball comes to him on its way in, he pushes Lovren. He's not fouling Mandzukic, but he did that push initially, and that's where the referee gave the free kick.
That's great. I love how he tries to get the ball down and try and get a finish up. Doesn't head everything, doesn't flick everything on, makes good decisions when the ball comes into it. I think it was Mandzukic that got the push. He was now limping out of his own box. Got a long way to go to that centre-forward position.
If you're just tuning away on 5 Live, maybe you've had a busy afternoon with events elsewhere in Samara. Maybe you're just getting back in the car. Maybe you're in a taxi on the way home. Maybe you're listening to us on your phone on the train or something like that. It's 1-1. Cheryshev with his 4th goal of this World Cup, and a screamer, by the way, to the top corner, put Russia in front. And then Kramaric, Andrej Kramaric, once of Leicester City, with a very good header to make it 1-1. We have 2.5 minutes to go to half-time, and who knows how this one's going to end up. Who knows who's going on to face England in the semi-final, but what we do know is that England are there. England await on Wednesday.
Yeah, you know what, and there's two totally different teams that England could be playing against. You've got the total football of Croatia, or they're trying to play total football. Russia aren't allowing it. Then you've got the workman-like, organised, hard team to play against like Russia. You know, I'm not quite sure which one's going to suit England. I'm really not.
Well, there's no doubt about it. In terms of household names and big clubs they play for and stuff, Croatia, the more glamorous opponent. They've got that El Clasico combination, Modric and Rakitic, and you know, like, they're not reserve players at Real Madrid and Barcelona. They are first choice players at 2 of the best clubs in the world, and they play well in tandem together as well. But Russia is showing here that by rolling up your sleeves and getting stuck in, you can unsettle Croatia for all their brawn and all their guile. As here, Rebic will sprint out but fail to keep the ball in play, and it's a throw into Russia, left full-back position, and Rebic sort of head-butted the ball. He held it in his hand and he was frustrated, he just head-butted it away. But luckily for him, another ball had already been presented to Dryashev, and he was able to take the throw in very quickly. Modric nips in and makes a very good tackle, and the ball is played away.
You'd expect a little bit more domination from Croatia. They've had most of the ball, but they just haven't been able to play at their own pace. Modric is normally a lot more effective. Rakitic as well normally dictates how games are played and in what pace. And Mandzukic there, the only thing he's done so far is cross that ball into Kramaric, and what a cross it was. He's totally isolated in between the two Russian centre-halves. Get him more into the game. Mandzukic is a massive player, especially on a massive stage like this.
Well, these sides have only met each other twice before competitively. They were in the same group as each other in the qualifiers for Euro 2008, so they played home and away. Both games finished 0-0. Here the scores are level. It's 1-1 after a first half that has been tense. Let's put it that way. I mean, they are just drilling into each other time and time again, full of energy, the Russians, as they have been all tournament. And Croatia, who didn't panic when going 1-0 down, and within 8 minutes were able to get it back to 1-1. Another free kick awarded to Croatia, a chance for them to clear their lines at right back with Versalco, fouled by Cheryshev.
Yeah, Cheryshev there showed a bit of pace. Unfortunately, the fullback gets there first, and he does foul the fullback, but still being positive, still being really positive. Russia.
2 minutes being added on for stoppages at the end of this first half. The old Soviet Union reached the semi-finals back in 1966. Russia haven't been to the semis since. Would it be an omen for England if Russia were to get to the semis? First time since 66, and we all know what ultimately happened then. Ball flicked on by Zuba, trying to get it back to Cheryshev, but Croatia work it back to the goalkeeper. Subasic's clearance, right-footed up over the halfway line. Header won by Kudryashov, and that goes out for a Croatia throw on the right-hand side. Reaction coming up at half-time with Kelly Cates to England's win in Samara against Sweden. England into the semi-finals. More reaction coming on 5 Live, not just at half-time. Later on tonight, all week, I'd imagine. I see Jonathan Wall, the controller of 5 Live, was tweeting earlier on that the schedule has been rewritten. All sorts of programs are going to be changed this week, and there will be hype like never before, with Gareth Southgate's team performing so well here in Russia. Ball is played by Mario Fernandes, back to the Russian goalkeeper Igor Akinfeev. Right-footed clearance up over the halfway line. Rakitic close to Zuba, now they get a touch. Lovren nips in behind and rolls it back to the goalkeeper once again. So we've almost played the 2 minutes that are being added on. A reminder of what's happened in this first half. Cheryshev, blinding goal to the top corner, put Russia in front. One of the loudest roars we've heard at this World Cup. And then Kramaric was able to equalise. That goal coming 6 minutes before the break. Shrill whistles around the stadium. The Russians want to go in now at half-time at 1-1. Croatia are on the attack. Referee obeys the whistles he hears. He blows his own. It's 1-1. That's how it stands. The teams are back out of the pitch. We are ready to go for the second half. An opening 45 minutes in which Russia took the lead. Denis Cheryshev, who had never scored an international goal before this World Cup, he's now on 4. Only Harry Kane has scored more goals at this tournament than Denis Cheryshev, but his goal cancelled out by Andrej Kramaric. And whenever Kramaric has scored for Croatia in the past, they have always gone on to win. There's no changes in personnel over the break. The same 11s that started the match. And I just went down for a little stroll on the concourse at half-time, Dion Doving. People say, oh, Croatia are going to win this. Other people say, oh, Russia are going to win this. I haven't got a clue. What side of the fence do you sit on?
You know what? It's still in the balance. It depends on, who starts the better, who concentrates the longest. Russia, I don't know what it is about Russia, but they seem to get it right at the right time. Is this going to be another one of those days? Yeah,
their decision making has been very good. You mentioned about this as there's a trigger, there's a signal when they all press together, and they do it so efficiently. As Ignashevich puts the ball out for a throw into Croatia down the right hand side. Croatia wearing their change strip, but mind you, it's become their familiar strip of this tournament. 4th game in a row, Croatia wearing all black. They're playing from left to right as we look down. Versalco's got a throw in level with the edge of the penalty area. and he decides to throw it backwards, back towards Lovren as a moth comes fluttering in around our commentary box, attracted by the light. Vida here in the centre circle to Lovren on his right hand side. One touch football from Croatia to give it to Luka Modric, but Modric's pass is intercepted, and that press again is effective from Russia as Golovin is tripped by Modric as he tries to scamper away down the left, and that will be a free kick to Russia.
Yeah, it's just not as comfortable as they were expecting. Croatia in the middle of the park, they expected to be able to play little triangles because they've got such good players in there with Kramaric and Perisic and Rakitic. They all can play with the ball at their feet under pressure, but when they're being squeezed in the middle of the park, it's not by one Russian player or two, they're coming in numbers.
So Akinfeev is the Russian goalkeeper, Mario Fernandez right back, Ignashevich, Kuchipov and Kuryachev are the back four, Zobnin and Krujaev in the middle of the midfield, Samedov who's had a good game, Golovin, Cheryshev who scored the goal, and Artem Dzyuba up front, the man who scored 3 goals at this World Cup, the centre forward. He's done a lot of hard work. He's not just waiting for the ball to come to him, he's going and he's getting involved, and he's a big part of how his team are doing well here. 1-1, the winner goes through to play England in the semi-final. The Croatia team, Subasic the goalkeeper, Vrsaljko, Lovren, Vida and Strinic are the back four. In midfield, Rakitic and Modric in the middle, Rebic has been wide right, Perisic wide left, Mandzukic up top, and Kramaric, the goal scorer, tucked in behind him.
Yes, just watching the ball there being played forward for Russia, looking for Dzyuba, but what they've done early on in the first few minutes here in the second half is Lovren and Vida are getting very close to the big fella, one in front, one behind. They're just stopping him getting the ball to his chest and starting an attack for Russia.
Here come Croatia down the left. Strinic though is chopped down to the ground 15 yards into the Russia half. That is going to be a free kick to Croatia. Samedov, the player who committed the foul. Interesting that Croatia aren't exactly pumping bodies forward here. They want to hold on to it in the midfield. Played short to Kramaric in the centre circle. To his right hand side is Dejan Lovren. Short to the feet of Vrsaljko on the right hand side. Immediately Cheryshev is in, nibbling away at his ankles, putting pressure on the Atletico Madrid fullback. Perisic with a little flick forward, but Ignashevich anticipated that, and the 38-year-old, the man who turns 39 next Saturday, the day before the World Cup final, he clears the ball away for Russia.
Yes, nothing wrong with being 39 and still playing, I can tell you that.
He's got a couple of years left in him going by Dion Dublin's career. Here's a chance for Vrsaljko to cross. Oh, Perisic, he just ducked down, he allowed the ball skip in behind him, and Ignashevich clears it away. And then it's further cleared by Cheryshev, but one back for Croatia by Luka Modric on the right-hand side. He gives it to Vrsaljko, the cross is behind the strikers. Oh, it's going to slip its way through though. Chance in the penalty area. Wriggle one way, wriggle the other way. How many touches does he need? Kramaric eventually releases a cross, but I think he needed to be more decisive, and Russia clear it away.
There was a moment there where he could have tried to curl that in the top left-hand corner, the keeper's top left-hand corner. Didn't take the opportunity.
4 minutes played in the second half. It is still 1-1. Cheryshev with a lovely sort of rainbow control of the ball. He flicked and he swiveled around in one motion, but ultimately he lost possession, and Modric with a snapshot from distance puts it well wide.
Yeah, that's a big chance actually, going back to that Kramaric chance. Falls to him, he's on the corner, just in between the 18-yard and the corner and the 6-yard. If you can imagine a line being drawn between those 2 points, he was just there. He could have just tried to curl it in the top corner. He dummied left, he dummied right, and by the time he'd done the third dummy, he had 3 Russian players around him.
The Croatia fans, despite being massively outnumbered, they are still here. Decent population of them. The country that has got the smallest population of all the countries left at this World Cup. Just 4.4 million people live in Croatia. 30 times smaller than Russia in terms of the number of people living there. Many, many more times in terms of the actual size of the country. But they've got the big names. Croatia, can they now deliver it? Having come from 1-0 down, can Croatia go and win this quarter-final and nab a place against England in the semi on Wednesday? Or is this Russian fairy tale about to continue? Modric flicks the ball out with the outside of his right boot in front of Strinic, who took a terrible touch to control it, and it runs out of play, and what would have been a great chance to power down the left wing goes a begging.
Yeah, just a lapse in concentration there, but you can see the second half, Russia were doing exactly the same thing. One player goes, they all go. Unfortunately, if you all go and one decides not to go, Croatia are the kind of side that will pick that little hole out of you.
Modric, good ball down the left-hand side. Rebic has managed to keep it in play, down by the byline, couple of step-overs, tries to send in a right-footed cross. Good defending by Mario Fernandes, who's able to clear it away, but Rebic is hungry, and he gets onto it again, and sends in a cross, which Ignashevich is stretching, and just about manages to get out of the penalty area. Here they come again, Croatia. Vrsaljko, down the right-hand side, plays it in, towards Perisic, and there's a bicycle kick from Kramaric, but it didn't have any power, and it's easily saved by Igor Akinfeev.
Yeah, he just couldn't get any pace on it. Watching it here, he's right in the centre of the goal. He's possibly bang on the penalty spot. Couldn't get any power or direction on it whatsoever. Good chance though.
Well, that is only the second shot on target as Subasic has to backpedal, but he was always going to gather the ball there on the edge of his 6-yard box. That's only the second time in this game that Croatia have had a shot on target. And if we treat this, purely as a scouting mission for England, is there much for Gareth Southgate to be concerned about if you can? You've only played 51 minutes, two shots on target.
I'm not getting drawn into that one. No, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to.
I had you there. Okay.
I can't do it. I just can't get drawn into who we'd rather have and who will we beat. I can't do it. Connor, you could try though. Good try. For an Irishman.
I'll try and word it cleverly the next time. Okay, I'll sneak it out of you between now and the full-time whistle. By the way, as an Irishman, I always thought England were my dark horses. I love it when a plucky underdog just says,
here we go.
Come on, we'll take you all on against the odds. Unbelievable stuff.
I used to like you.
Here is Strinic on the left-hand side. Turns and gives it back to Vida on the halfway line. Russia, for the moment, are sitting deep. 52 minutes on the clock. 1-1. Cheryshev for Russia. Kramaric for Croatia. Could still go either way, but one of these teams will be playing England in the semi. Golovin gets it back for Russia. Zuba, great ball. Cheryshev, he's too soft. It was Modric, just the presence of Modric forced Cheryshev there to prod it on earlier than he would have wished to do, and then he didn't have the power on it, and it wouldn't go through to Golovin.
Yes, I think there's a player down at the moment. Can't see who it is. But what is it? Vrsaljko, is it?
Yeah, Vrsaljko's down for Croatia, but at the same time Russia are preparing to make a change of their own.
Yeah, there we go. Just watching the he just got a little bit of afters there, Vrsaljko, but he looks okay. He's sat up. I think he's just waiting for a bit of attention, waiting for that magic spray, which I can let all you listeners out there know it has no effect whatsoever. So please get up and carry on.
Placebo. Right, for Russia, Yurokhin is going to come on. Alexander Yurokhin, the Zenit St. Petersburg midfielder. And we're just waiting to see who'll be making way. It'll be Samedov. Alexander Samedov of Spartak Moscow, who I think has had a good game. He's run himself into the ground. He comes off, gets a high five from the coach, Chercheshov. And on is Yurokhin, who is yet to score an international goal. These fresh legs on for the hard-running Russians.
I've got one of those, watches that they sort of they register how far you walk. If I could put it on Cherchesov, the Russian manager, I would be into thousands. He's not stopped pacing up and down his technical area.
His heat map will be expansive.
Imagine his heat map.
Up and down.
Good lad. So intense, and his team play that way as well. Very intense.
Yeah, you feel for him. He's been saying in the press conference of the week, Vladimir Putin's been ringing him up regularly, giving him a few ideas. The pressure, if he wins this into the semi, he's a national hero forever. I still think, you would hope that would be the case anyway, even if they go out tonight. But having built up the expectations, having led 1-0 this evening, I think Russia would now be more disappointed than they would have been if they do ultimately fail to go through.
No, agreed. But what they can't do, they can't sit back and allow Croatia to have the ball. They will find the holes. They've got to keep playing the way they did in the first half.
Here comes Modric. Wavy dribble. Support from Vrsaljko's recovered from that knock that he had. But Russia get it back. And it's Cheryshev. On to Zuba. Over the halfway line, left-hand side. Zuba smuggles it through two defenders. Back to Cheryshev. Look at him go. Long paces and then a good interception by Ivan Strinic. and Croatia regain possession in the left full-back position. It's quickly into midfield. For the first time, the Russians are slow to get back. The game looks a bit stretched. Perisic attacks the edge of the penalty area. Ivan Perisic of Inter Milan. Good defending by Zobnin. He's held up Perisic. He's allowed his teammates to get back into formation, but Croatia come once more. Luka Modric, 5 or 6 yards outside the penalty area, glides to the edge of the box. Back to Kramaric, the man whose goal has got Croatia back into it from 1-0 down. Then Croatia hold on to possession. Back to Vida, the centre-back. Into the midfield once again. Ivan Rakitic onto Kramaric, who'll turn. Here he is, just outside the penalty area. Scoops it out to the left. That was not a good pass. No chance for Vrsaljko. It hands possession back to Russia with a goal kick. 1-1 here with 11 minutes played in the second half.
That's Croatia in a nutshell. They had a chance to break quickly on Russia. Like you said, the game was a bit stretched. There's about 4 Russian players still in the Croatian half. They didn't get back quick enough. But Croatia won't just throw it in the box. They wait. They waited too long. All the players got back for Croatia. Enough defenders there to quash the attack.
A reminder that Five Lives World Cup Daily Podcast is out every morning during the tournament. Tomorrow's episode, all the reaction to England's win against Sweden and looking ahead to the semi-final. That'll be available wherever you get your podcasts when you wake up in the morning, as Croatia win the ball back with Strinic in the final third. Onto Perisic in midfield. Modric rolls it in front of Vrsaljko, and Croatia come over the halfway line on the right-hand side. It is 1-1 here. This is 5 Live from the BBC from inside the stadium in Sochi on the south coast of Russia. We're also live on the BBC Sport website tonight and the BBC World Service across Africa, as Strinic gets into a crossing position on the left-hand side. Plays it infield. Rebic shoots, but he was always leaning backwards, and it sails over the Russia crossbar.
Yeah, good defending. Good defending again for Russia, making sure they get players back. Not diving in as well, because they know if you dive in with this Croatian side, they'll just play it around you. Be impatient, waiting for the trigger yet again. They've got to get players closer to Zubac. He's doing too much work deep. He's got to stay in between the 2 centre halves. He's got to be a nuisance for Lovren. Get the ball into him. Get support up to him.
The clock ticks on towards the hour mark. I don't know why, but I get the feeling here both these teams feel they can get this done in the 90 minutes tonight. I think it'll be, if it's still 1-1 into the last 10 minutes, I don't think they're going to sit back. I think they'll both feel, as that banner said before kickoff, when if not now. This is the chance, don't miss about.
Yeah, they won't want to go into extra time, neither side. And the first reason for not going into extra time is because they'll both be shattered. Both teams will be absolutely shattered.
Having both played extra time in the quarters, that would mean that they play extra time 2 games in a row, going into in the last 16, going into the semi-final, which I guess would suit England, who did have to go the additional minutes against Colombia, but got the job done in the 90 today.
You know, the closer you get to the goal, the closer you get to the silverware, the less tired you get. It's as simple as that. If you know there's a little bit of a window opportunity there, and you think tiredness doesn't come into it because you're getting closer. The more you win, the more energy you have.
Good ball from Modric, such an elegant player to watch. Gives it to Vrsaljko on the right-hand side. Forward onto Perisic, midway into the Russian half, but hounded back away for the penalty area. Great pressure put on in there by Croatia. Now, Croatia come down the left-hand side. Strinic has got a bit of room here. Floats in across. Looks like it's too high. Kramaric has done well to fashion it back into the middle. Mandzukic is scrambling. Sits up in front of Perisic. Must be! Hits the post and comes out! Hits the very inside of the post. Any closer to the target, and I mean fraction of a millimetre, and that is a goal. It hits the inside of the post. It comes across the goal line, and miraculously for Russia, it stays out.
There's 5 players behind them, 6 players behind the ball, including the keeper. And Perisic puts it in the only place, if anywhere, it could have gone in. And he hits the post. That's an inch inside the post.
And not only does it hit the post, as it comes out, it goes within a whisker of hitting a Russian defender, which would have popped it into the back of the net anyway.
Yeah,
they are living a charmed life, the Russians. How do they get away with that?
Is that because they're earning their look, or Croatia being poor? We'll find out, because you can't keep living on the edge like that.
Well, still won't count as a shot on target because it hit the post. Croatia have only had 2 of those. Here comes Mario Fernandes down the right-hand side for Russia. Plays a 1-2, but good defending. It was Rakitic back there, and he helps clears it away onto Rebic, who started this game on the right wing but is now very much on the left-hand side. Golovin, Alexander Golovin for Russia. Level with the edge of the penalty area they attack. Down the right-hand side. He's fleet of foot. He comes spinning in field. but then no obvious pass to a teammate in an attacking position, so he rolls it back to Ignashevich, and Russia come again. Mario Fernandez, the right back, pushes it in front of Yurokin, who's come on. He tries to cross it, takes a deflection, it's a corner to Russia, and this will be a nervous moment for Croatia.
Yeah, just this little passage of play there, Russia. Having a few attempts to get the ball in the box. Rakitic on both occasions doing a bit of dirty work for his team. He's going to have to do a little bit more as well, because it's going to be a corner for Russia from the far side as we look.
Goluban goes across. Look at the encouragement for the Russia supporters all around that guy. They are waving everything. They've got clenched fists. They're telling him to do it. Do it for the motherland. Here it comes. Goluban's delivery. Right footed. Juba wins the header, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. Akinfeev makes the save.
Yeah, just couldn't get the pace on the header. I think it was a clash of heads, actually. I think Zuba does clash heads. I think it's with Lovren, is it? There's a hand in the face. There's a lot of contact there, but Zuba keeps his eye on the ball. Just couldn't get enough on it. Keeper just catches it on the second
so
bounce.
Powerful there, Juba. Yes. I think he does collide with the back of Mandžukić's head, but he's got such forward momentum to head it on. He barely flinches. Mandžukić is down. Martin Zuba, who is creating panic with any of these high balls into the penalty. I mean, you've got Lovren full in the face, palming away. He collides with the back of the head of Mandžukić. He's like a tank. He just barrels through the two of them.
I've actually just seen that again. It's actually Lovren that elbows Mandžukić. He doesn't do it on purpose. Obviously, he runs into Lovren's elbow and he catches the full sharpness of the elbow. Wow, that's got to hurt. But he's up on his feet. The big man's okay.
Here we go then. Substitution coming up for Croatia. As we're seeing again in our monitors replays of that shot from Perisic that came back off the post. How close he was. It is Perisic who goes off, and it is Marcelo Brozovic of Inter Milan, who helped Inter to qualify for Champions League football for next season. He scored against Russia the last time these sides met. It was a friendly 3 years ago. Croatia won that game 3-1. Brozovic comes on for Croatia, and he's more of a defensively minded player. Dion, what do you make of that?
I'm hoping they're not going to just sit back now and keep hold of it and wait for extra time. I think they'll be out on their feet. It's so warm tonight.
Here's a shot from a long way out by Kramaric. It hits Kuchapov on the edge of the penalty area. That's a lovely back heel. Stranic is into the penalty area. Oh, he tried to tee it up for Kramaric, and a last gas interception from Zobnin, and Russia were able to clear it away. Croatia looking so dangerous there. 1-1 on 5 live. Modric to the right hand side to Vrsaljko. Outruns Zobnin to try and keep tabs on him. It's played back into the middle to Luka Modric of Real Madrid. Now there's the man who just came on, Brozovic. Now Rakitic. This is all in the central third. Croatia playing left to right as we look down, wearing all black. Russia, who are full of running, shuttle sprinting around, closing down the gaps. As here come Croatia again. Rakitic. Reaching out towards him there was Zhajev. Now it's flicked to the outside of the right boot by Modric, controlled on the chest by Vrsaljko on the right hand side. He's got two defenders in front of him. He's managed to get it through to Mandžukić in the penalty area, whips it across the face of goal, up in the air off Ignashevich. Mario Fernandez gets a header. Modric tries to come onto it. He had a great first touch, but he's just unable to get onto it for a second one. Croatia just enjoying a good spell here at the moment, Dion.
Yeah, just cleared just in time by the old fella Ignashevich there, getting it away out the danger, but Croatia come again. Russia are now falling into a 4-5-1 formation, allowing Croatia to have the ball. I think that's a very dangerous tactic.
Vrsaljko, right hand side of the midfield for Croatia. Russia just sitting back at the moment, not pressing at the halfway line, sitting in the final third for now. Rakitic, can he find a gap? Floats one over the top out towards Vrsaljko. It's a great ball. Vrsaljko controls on the instep, tries to get the cross in, deflected on the way through. Ignashevich is there. No nonsense clearance, puts it out for a Croatia throw.
It's going to be hard to do this. If they cannot play like this for the rest of this game, Russia, they do have to. It's working at the moment for them. They are defending well, but if you allow good players time and space on the ball, they'll find an opening.
25 minutes to go. 1-1. Russia scored first. Croatia equalised before half-time. Modric rolls it back to Vida. Croatia will try to come through the middle. Rakitic, yellow boots, centre circle. He's got support just alongside him. Brozovic has been caught in possession. He's just struggling to get up to the pace of the game, having come on a moment ago. Russia preparing to make another change as well, and Fido Smolov is about to come on. Now he's the Krasnodar striker. He was the man who they were hoping was going to be their poster boy for this tournament, and it didn't really happen for him, but he's going to get a chance now to come on, having started the first game but taken off as a substitute. Dzuba's become the first choice. I wonder, will it be Dzuba coming on? Just watching, he looks tired down there, Artem Dzuba, who's run himself into the ground. Or are they going to go two up top? Here come Croatia down the right hand side. 1-1 and 5 live from the BBC. Good challenge by Zobnin, but he can't get it under his control. In comes Croatia, and they will break clear now. Kushiev out into space for Mario Fernandes on the right hand side. Good closing down by Ante Rebic, and that goes out for a throw into Russia.
This substitution is massive. Now who's it going to be?
It's the midfielder. Cheryshev will come off, having scored a screamer. He's leaving on Dzuba, and he's bringing on Smolov. Two out-and-out strikers for Russia. Can they get it done?
Yeah, so it's not going to be what I expected. Start of the game, it was a 4-4-1-1. Now the big fella has got some help. I'm hoping so. There he goes, straight up, straight onto the pitch, over the centre circle, right next to Dzuba. On the left-hand shoulder, Vida. Two to mark now, the two centre-halves.
And some of the perceived wisdom ahead of this tournament, though frankly what that's worth at this stage I don't know, but the theories that were all being bandied about ahead of the opening game was that Smolov and Dzuba don't play well together. It's one or the other. However, now quarter of this game to go of the regulation 90. Russia have got the two of them up top, and they're proper up top as well. There's no use sitting behind me. They're both up there as strikers.
Yeah, they are, and I'm hoping that it doesn't leave them too open as a 4-4, because Smolov's really gone high up the pitch.
All kinds of instructions coming on here now as well. Golovin comes over to the touchline. Chercheshev, the manager, gives him an instruction. He runs back on, has a little word with a few teammates. It's become a bit of a chess match now. Who's got the better tactics?
That's it. They've seen the coach pulled over one of his players. Now the volume's been taken up a notch.
The encouragement from this Russia crowd for their team cleared away by Vida at the back for Croatia. Referee blows his whistle. Flag is raised on the far side. Dzuba was in an offside position. Free kick to Croatia, which they take quickly. Out to Mario Mandzukic. Game a little bit ragged at the moment. You got players all over the place, and not necessarily in a formation that you would call. At the moment, Mandzukic is in a right back position. Forward towards Kramaric, easily beaten in the air by Ignashevich. Then Mandzukic does get it here on the right hand side. The Juventus player. Little back heel for Kramaric, who's out on the right wing. At the moment, Perisic is in what you would call a centre forward position for Croatia. And I think they're just trying to discombobulate the Russian defence a bit. They're trying to mix it up and not allow Russia man mark. This is Modric, 15 yards inside the Russia half. The hard work, the endeavour from the host nation. No let up in that. Space for Salko on the right hand side. Sends in across too much, and the way he controlled it, he bobbed it up, so by the time he crossed it, it was almost like a half volley, and he overstruck it over everyone, and it's cleared away by Mario Fernandes. Still 1-1.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad cross at all actually, but nobody was gambling whatsoever.
Modric towards the edge of the penalty area. Kuchipov intercepts it. Lovely little Cruyff turn-like effort there from Zobnin. And it's played back by Smolov and Ignashevich, and a bit of room here on the left-hand side for Kudrayashev, and he'll come up over the halfway line. It's not been this high forward in the game. Gives it to the feet of Dzuba. For once he can't make it stick. Kramaric though with a heavy touch of his own. Russia trying to get it back in the midfield. Kramaric though shows good strength. Holds off Kushaev. Gives it to the left hand side for Ivan Strunic to come well deep over the halfway line and into Russian territory. We've almost reached the 70th minute mark, and Kuchipov makes a tackle on the edge of the penalty area, and Mario Fernandes should be able to clear away, and he does down that right channel, and Dzuba scampers after it. Vida had a head start on it. Croatia have it with Dejan Lovren in the centre circle. 1-1, and I still have no idea which way this is going to go.
Yeah, I've been looking closely at Luka Modric. Is he wearing slippers? Because it's like he's at home and he's just having a stroll around his living room. Never gives the ball away. The guy's just outstanding.
He's fantastic to watch. He's the orchestra leading, or he's the conductor, I should say, leading the orchestra down there. As Russia try to come forward in the right-hand side. Dzuba's challenge goes to ground. Referee blows his whistle. It gives a free kick for the foul by Vida. It's a free kick to Russia on the halfway line, and we're into the last 20 minutes of the regulation 90 now.
Yeah, it's down the right-hand side. It's just inside Russia's half. Are they going to keep this, or are they going to launch it into the box? It might be a little bit too far to be launched into the box.
This is where the nerves start to jangle a little bit. Supporters in the stands, players down on the pitch, getting serious now. Into the last 20 minutes. Free kick to Russia, played by Kuchepov towards the edge of the penalty area. Juba gets up, he's beaten this time by Lovren. Kramaric back helping out the defence, controls it. Couple of touches in the penalty area, clears it away. Not a very good clearance though. He has given away possession to Kujaev. He's got a chance to cross on the left-hand side. Plays a little 1-2 with Urochin. They will come back to the halfway line to hold on to possession, Russia. Ignashevich onto Kuchepov. What a ball that is. Mario Fernandes, if he can get on the end of it. Down the right-hand side, brilliant. They're into the penalty area. Chance here. Taken away from goal. First touch by Urochin. Turns back again though. Smolov. Chance for Mario Fernandes once more. Here's the cross. Header! And it's up and over the top. Urochin came close.
Take the shot on. He's got to take the shot on. You cannot wait and allow players to get back into the box. I think it's Smolov there. Tries to find a teammate, but wow, the chance had gone. It was Fernandes that puts the cross in the end. Just couldn't get enough on it. That's, you know what, that's so frustrating. If there's a chance there to be taken at this stage of the game, in a quarter-final of the World Cup, take it.
And just confirmation, the attendance coming up and everyone cheering about that here. 18 minutes to play inside the stadium in Sochi. That was a big opportunity for Fido Smolov, the man who was expected to be the goal scorer for Russia at this tournament. And as Dion illustrated, he didn't want to take the shot on. A couple of touches too many, suddenly he was gone. They did well, Russia, to resurrect a second chance, but that one headed over the top.
Yeah, it was Fernandes in the end who was crossing it, but the first chance was the best. I think Smolov, he's got two good feet as well. He can create things, he can score goals. This time he didn't take his chance.
Good play by Rakitic, sends it one side of Ignashevich, runs around the other to try and get it, but then he commits a foul. Good defending from Russia, and they win themselves a free kick. What's been interesting for me is the Croatia goal came from a Mario Mandzukic run down the left-hand side. It was the first time he got in around the Russia defence. They've not been able to do that in the whole game, so much so that Russia have not been caught offside once in this game. That says so much, you know what I mean? They've not been on the shoulder. Russia playing so deep that Croatia are not getting anywhere near in behind them.
Yeah, they don't want any of that pace on the wrong side of them, so they start to run towards. As a centre half, on the odd occasion, you don't want to be running towards your own goal with Croatians, the ball at their feet. Another substitution, I think.
Another change. Croatia are going to bring on a left back. Josip Pivaric is going to go on now. He was Croatia's first choice left back from much of the qualifying campaign. Here at the World Cup itself, Ivan Strinic has been playing in that position, and it is Strinic who goes off, and Pivaric comes on in his place. So Strinic, who's done a lot of running, he's been bombing up and down that left wing. Fresh legs on now in that position for Croatia. Zuba down from up high, nods it on towards Smolov on the edge of the bucket, comes back to Zuba. Been so impressed with him at this tournament. Mario Fernandes down the right hand side for Russia, plays it across, poor cross, too close to the goalkeeper, held on to by Subasic, and it's still 1-1.
Yeah, Fernandes on that occasion just trying to force it. It's not the kind of time to play a ball in like that. Zuba's on his own in the box, three players round him. Just play another two passes just to create a better angle on the pass. There's Modric again taking charge of the game, finding another black shirt.
Yeah, he's a metronome down there, just keeping it all ticking for Croatia. We've only had 2 yellow cards in the game. One of them was for Strinic. I wonder if that was in the minds of Zlatko Dalic and these assistants as they consider what change to make. They don't want to have a player sent off here, particularly with the prospect of extra time beginning to loom, because we've a quarter of an hour to go. 1-1.
And you know what? As good as Croatia are looking on the ball, they look at a much better football inside than Russia. It's still 1-1. It's still 1-1.
I mentioned earlier, we commentated the opening game of this World Cup when Russia got 5 against Saudi Arabia. If the kick-off of that game, if I'd said to you, Dion, in a few weeks' time, we are going to be in Sochi and Russia will be 1-1 with a quarter of an hour to go for a place in the semi-final. I mean, we just would not have believed it. This was not on the cards.
No, not at all. but the way this World Cup's gone, you can't call anything. I don't care how big a nation you are, how good your players are. This World Cup's been about earning the right first. Work hard and then let your quality players do the rest. Because, Argentina, Spain, some of the best squads in the world, out. See you later.
All bets are off at this World Cup. Look at Modric go. Injection of pace, gets right to the edge of the penalty area, lays it off to Kramaric. Support outside of Veselko. He crosses with the outside of his right boot, headed down. Modric, this is the chance. Shoots. Brilliant defending by Ignashevich, and it's cleared away and out, I think, for a corner. That was brilliant from Ignashevich, the 38-year-old, 39 at the weekend. He stood up and was counted for his team there.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable defending, that is. Twice he gets in the way. It's Luka Modric. He's about a yard away from the penalty spot, and the old man's just diving in, just throwing his whole body in the way to make sure that goes nowhere near his goal. That's just brilliant defending, and you know what? That's why he's in the team, because players will watch him, they'll follow his lead. He's the leader, he's the old man, respect him.
He dived forward there, he was on the deck, and he bounced up like the turf was a trampoline to get back in position again. Ignashevich is putting his body on the line here, as all of Russia are. 1-1. Corner to Croatia. Luka Modric standing over it. Here we go. Outswinging delivery headed up in the air, and it sails over the crossbar off Mandzukic, one of the great headers of a ball, but couldn't keep that one down.
Yes, another great corner from Luka Modric there, but Mandzukic, I think he got in the way of Lovren. I think Lovren was right behind him. He'd made a better run. He was coming onto the ball. He wasn't jumping up. I think Mandzukic was jumping up into the air, tried to control it, couldn't do it. So a bigger shout from Lovren. If you shout Lovren's ball and you know, come straight in and head that forward.
Russia preparing to make another change. Flags and scarves being twirled in the air all around us. Such patriotism from the Russians. They have been blown away by how their team has performed. Such commitment, such endeavour. The entire nation has been proud of them. But is this the night where it ends, or does the story continue? And do England become part of that story? Modric is fouled on the halfway line. Zobnin picked up the ball and ran away. The referee says, no, give it back, no time wasting. Modric wants to get on with it. He takes the free kick quickly.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what, players like to do. I've said it many times in commentary now. Hand-on play. Keep the ball moving. Really tire out the opposition side. That's what Russia looks slightly tired now.
Clock ticks on. 12 minutes to go. In terms of distance run, Russia have outrun the Croatians by some distance in this match. Modric floats it over into space for Pivaric, the man who came on as the new left back. Chance to get it into the penalty area by Rakitic, but Veselko slips as it was coming towards him. That's unfortunate. And cheers from the Russians as it harmlessly goes out for a goal kick.
Veselko there was actually in. He was actually in on goal. If he'd have just kept his feet, the ball falls into the area where he should have been, just slips at the last minute.
So Artem Zuba, who has eaten every blade of grass down there, he has thrown his body up and down the pitch, he's battled for everything in the air, he makes way, and on comes Yuri Gazinski. So Russia will finish this 90 minutes with Fido Smolov as the striker up front, and then three attacking midfielders, Golovin, Gazinski and Yurochin. What's going to happen? Are we destined for another bout of extra time?
You know what? This could go all the way. It could go all the way.
And both goalkeepers will think, well, it worked out okay last time. Both goalkeepers were heroes in the last 16. You don't have any dinner reservations in Sochi tonight, dear. You don't have anywhere you need to be.
I booked a table for two for me and you, but...
trying to get restaurants around Sochi, by the way, with Russia in town. Best of luck. Here comes Mario Fernandes over a halfway line on the right-hand side. Who's got the desire at this stage? They've both used such energy. This is a great run. Down the right, the ball is pulled back. Smolov was peeling away. It wouldn't come to him. And it's cleared. And Croatia put it out. And they'll be there throwing the left-hand side for Rebic.
That was one of those crosses that nearly missed out everybody. It's one of those ones where everybody runs towards the goal. It's now cut back. And Smolov's just about to pull the trigger, but it gets cleared.
Now, Yurochin is down injured inside the penalty area. With the ball out of play, the referee is just going to hold it up. He ran into Vida. I don't know how I think Vida's almost protecting himself, but there is an elbow into the ribs. He'll be winded. I don't think it'll be something that'll take him out of the game, but at the moment he's just struggling to suck the oxygen into his lungs.
Yeah, that was just a clash of two players that didn't know where the other one was. Vida didn't know that he was there. And that's unintentional, but you know what, that's one of those where the elbow, see Vida's gone over now to have a chat with him, patting him on the back. It's one of those where you can get caught with a bent elbow into the ribs, and it can be pretty painful then.
So, this is the situation on 5 Live for the BBC. It is 20-11 local time in Sochi, and we still do not know if it'll be Russia or Croatia who go through to face England in the World Cup semi-final on Wednesday. I think a lot of people are going to wake up tomorrow and say, is this really happening? But England are there, and we don't know if it's Russia or Croatia. Russia took the lead tonight. Cheryshev, one of the goals of this World Cup, brilliant finish, and equalised by Kramaric. They've both gone at it hammer and tongs ever since, but 1-1 it remains.
Yeah, it's been a pretty even game in regards energy and desire, but the quality has come from Croatia, Luka Modric really, and the organisation, and the blood, sweat and tears has come from Russia because they haven't had the ball for half this game. So yeah, it's an interesting one. This one is going to be played out all the way to the end, but what end is it going to be?
Kaczynski sweeps across and heads the ball out of play. Throw into Croatia on the right-hand side. Kaczynski's actually taking a deeper midfield role than I expected. He's popped in alongside Zobnin and Kujaev. Smolov, the striker up front, but can Russia get it up to him? Versalko has possession on the right-hand side. Here's the goal scorer for Croatia. Kramaric, once of Leicester, helps it onto Modric. Oh, that's brilliant. Twinkle toes for Modric to get into a crossing position, but Ignashevich in the right place at the right time to clear it away. Comes back to Ignashevich, heads it straight up in the air. Mandzukic tries to get onto it, but then a bicycle kick almost away. Kujaev hooks it over his own shoulder. Russia very grateful to see that one go, but here come Croatia onto them again. 7.5 minutes to play here in Sochi of the regulation 90. Mario Fernandes does a good shepherding job, ushers the ball out of play under extreme pressure, and that will be a goal kick to Russia. Listen to the noise.
That's Fernandes there, jockeying the ball out for a good 10 yards, and then as the ball goes out, he gets his goal kick, and with both arms he puts them outside by the side of him and waves the fans up, come on, let's hear some noise, and the fans have responded.
You know, they say, it's the hope that kills you in sport. The Russians believe this is on, this can happen, and that's what's gnawing away with them. 7 minutes to go. Will it happen? 1-1 in Sochi, Russia's World Cup. Are they to remain active in it? As Golovin tries to come forward, taken away off him and cleared away at the back by Versalko, who's sitting a bit deeper now, aware that Russia look dangerous as they come forward. There's a handball there off Kramaric, free kick to Russia, 7 or 8 yards outside the penalty area. It's not quite shooting position, but this has danger written all over it.
Yeah, this is Russia's best chance, a set piece, a ball into the box, get the big lads in there. Zuba's gone off, so 2 centre-halves have gone up to replace him in the height. This will be an in-swinger.
Ignashevich has gone forward, and he's trying to be as downbeat, as anonymous as he can. Don't notice me, I'm just hovering here at the back. Golovin is standing over it. They don't have Big Zuba, the main aerial threat, but what can Russia create here? 6 minutes of the 90 to go. Golovin's delivery, in swinging, strong header away by Lovren. That was very important. Croatia get it away, and they breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, what a great ball in from Golovin there. Right on the money. Just a touch. One of those ones where if you touch it, it's got to go in the back of the net.
Smolov challenges forward, beaten to it by Versalko, midway inside the Croatia half. Modric picks it up, rides over a challenge, pumps it now towards the edge of the penalty area. And back there is Yuri Kaczynski, and the Russia substitute clears it away, but Modric collects it again. Ball is looped out by Brozovic for Pivaric on the left-hand side. Two of the substitutes combining into the penalty area. Kramaric back to goal. Ignashevich barreling away into the back of him, and Russia get it back again. And Kujaev with a nice calm ball to Mario Fernandes, and he tries to play it over the halfway line, but Pivaric slides in, and the commitment from both teams is very admirable here.
Yeah, Kujaev there really doing well for his side. A few pirouettes round in a circle there, keeping hold of the ball, waiting for the right pass, being secure for his teammates. Fernandez shows they've just got to hang in here. Russia, they really have.
Igor Akinfeev, the goalkeeper, clears it away, right-footed, straight down the middle, over the halfway line. Vida's header is up into the air. Acrobatically jumping was Zobnin. He wins the header, but he can't pick out a teammate. 1-1 on 5 Live and the World Service across Africa tonight. And we may be heading towards extra time. There are just over 4 minutes of the 90 to go. I would imagine at least another 4 added on those. So 8 minutes of regular time, I would guess. Thereabouts.
Yeah. There's a fair amount of time left in this game yet.
Modric out to Pavaric on the left-hand side. More than ever it feels that the next goal wins this. Rakitic to Vrselko. Back into the midfield. Brozovic through Lovren onto Vida. Russian players swarming like flies, chasing down every opportunity, trying to win the ball back. Rakitic plays it forcefully cross-field, and then a header by Irokin that lacked composure. I think he was caught in two minds there. He wasn't under the pressure he might have thought he was. He has needlessly put it out for a corner to Croatia.
Yeah, it was never on. He's on the edge of his box. He's about 20 yards away from his keeper, and he's trying to head it back to his keeper. We're just seeing a replay there of the manager. Not too pleased there. Listen, just clear it. Do you defend him? Don't put us under pressure. We're nearly there.
Cherchesov just closed his eyes, breathed out. Oh, don't do this to me. Here it comes. Modric delivery. Great cross. Vida's header too high. The centre half, good leap. Couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, on the money again. Two centre halves there. Vida and Lovren sprinted into that area where the ball always lands on the penalty spot. I think it's actually Lovren there and Kutapov actually having a I think they're trying to swap shirts there actually as they were marking each other. They're pulling up the shirts. Ridiculous.
2.5 minutes of the 90 to go. Russia won, Croatia won, and Croatia preparing to make another change. Kramaric, the man who scored for them in the first half, goes off, and it's the Real Madrid player Mateo Kovacic who will come on in his place. Good player.
You know what, I don't think Russia can see out this last few minutes by just sitting behind the ball. They've got to put a little bit of pressure on Croatia. The form that Modric is in, he'll find somebody in a minute. So put them under a little bit of pressure. Don't commit too much, but you've got to give them a bit of pressure.
So Kovacic will play in the middle of the midfield with Modric and Rakitic. It might even allow those two push forward a little bit now, because Croatia have got Brozovic and Kovacic in the midfield, and Rebic is attacking up front as they try to break into the penalty area. Brozovic cutting in off the left wing and able to help it back to the goalkeeper, who's got a problem here. Subasic is down, he's holding his hamstring. Not often you see goalkeepers like this. He hasn't been challenged by anyone, and with the prospect of a penalty shootout potentially, Daniel Subasic, who saved 3 penalties in the shootout against Denmark, is now down and he's got his hand on his hamstring.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's ricocheted back to him. He tries to stop it going out for a corner, and he sort of sprints off the mark 2 yards. And it's a really obscure one, because he stays down on his knees and he puts his right hand straight onto his right hamstring and he starts hitting the floor. That is
a very important thing to say, and this is pivotal and crucial. Croatia have used all their subs. They literally 90 seconds ago brought on Kovacic. If the goalkeeper needs to depart, they can make a 4th change in extra time, but not until then. But they won't have to play and that is why they will patch him up. They're not going to be able to bring on a proper goalkeeper until the game goes into extra time. So no matter how injured he is, do you choose to keep an injured goalkeeper, or do you put an outfield player with the goalkeeper's shirt on?
Well, judging by what we're seeing on these pictures here, we are seeing that he's getting some work on his hamstring, a bit of a rub. He's gone back down on the floor now. So,
they are warming up the replacement goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I think that they're aware of the situation here. I think if there's any way he can stand, he stays on at least until extra time.
No, I agree. They're doing one of those tests. He's lying down on his front, straight legs, and then they're asking him to lift his right heel up, and they're putting pressure on it to see if the hamstring can take the pain.
And Dion, and with a hobbling goalkeeper, 5 minutes of being added on for stoppages.
Dear, he'll be okay.
Croatia now if you were playing for Russia, surely you are drilling shots from all distances if you think the goalkeeper's injured.
I used to drill shots from all angles anyway. If they were anywhere between 6 yards and the goal, that was my distance. But he's walking. He's walking okay.
He's walking. Now. The two physios are hovering around that goal mouth as long as they can, just to see if they're going to be required again. But if there's a situation where he's going to charge out for a cross or charge out to dive at the feet of a striker, he is. How you always know, imagine it was an outfield player when they do their hammy, feel the back of the leg, and then he started pounding the turf.
Yeah.
It's done. But they cannot bring on another goalkeeper now. Tell you what, they're lucky that the new rules exist, that they can make the fourth change in extra time. Here comes a cross on the left-hand side. Croatia on the attack. Drilled in by Mandzukic, but Mario Fernandes is there to clear away. In the middle of all that, the fourth official held up the board to say 5 minutes, but I think that will have been determined before the delay with the goal.
Yeah.
It could be something in the region of 7 minutes to be added on.
We'll find out how the keeper is.
Here's Modric, 10 yards inside the penalty area, veers towards the mark, does a step over, still Modric, goes around 2, goes around 3, tries to cross. Kuchepov puts it out for a corner. That was very dangerous from Luka Modric.
Yeah, that's Modric knowing that he can attack these two defenders, because if they touch him, he's going down, there'll be a penalty. Keeps hold of the ball,
quickly taking corner, Russia switched off, chance for Rebic, drills it off a defender and out for another corner again.
You've got to switch on.
And they've tried to play the short corner again. Modric tries to play it in towards Rebic. Mario Fernandes, not Fernandes, it was Khrushchev, more alert that time. He puts it out for a Croatia throw. Well, with their goalkeeper looking injured, there might be all the more incentive for Croatia not to let this go to penalties. Ball comes in, Kuchepov, edge of the 6-yard box, clears it away. Russia can't retain possession at the moment. Marcelo Brozovic has it on the left-hand side, into Ivan Rakitic. Back now into a more central location for Dejan Lovren. Here's Vasalko on the right-hand side for Croatia, wearing all black. Gives it forward Kovacic. Kovacic does a little dance over the ball. Back to Lovren once again. Whistles from, I guess, predominantly Russian supporters who are saying, come on, let's go into extra time. We want another half hour of this. I think they're nervous. They're going to lose it before the end of injury time here. Mario Fernandes tries to shepherd the ball out. Did he get a touch there? It goes out by the corner flag, and the referee says...
Goal kick? Yeah,
goal kick or free kick? I think it might be a free kick where Fernandes was.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that shepherding the ball as a fullback, wanting the ball to go out for a goal kick. If you get caught out, you could be in some serious trouble, so play it safe. You don't want to give anything away right now.
Since the injury to the goalkeeper, Silvasic, with the 3 substitutes already made, he's not been involved. It's been all down the other end. I'm going to be fascinated the first time he's called into action, because I think he's putting a brave face on this here. The clock ticks on. We've played 3 minutes of stoppages already. Ball high up over the halfway line. Rochen tries to control it. He's done well to flick it on over Smolov. Smolov crossing position on the right hand side. Vida puts his hands behind his head. Drilled in. Goalkeeper does well. Subasic managed to parry it away. That was a crossing position, but Smolov, he effectively shot there, Dion, didn't he, from a crazy angle?
Yeah, he did, and I think he caught the keeper off guard there. Keeper made a great save because he was actually moving to his right, and the ball was going in the near post. So Smolov could see this as well. Took on the shot. He wasn't going in, but the keeper wasn't to know that. But his hamstring held out.
I think in Smolov's head was, I can smell blood here. I think the bear has caught his foot in a trap, and I want to try and catch him out. Here come Croatia. Josip Pivaric over the halfway line on the left-hand side. 4 minutes now played in stoppages at the end of a pulsating 90. It hasn't been a game that's oozed quality like others in the World Cup, but the story here, the romance, Russia, Croatia, one of them going through to play England in the semi-final. It's so tense. Here come Croatia. Brozovic onto Kovacevic. Now, chance to cross on the right-hand side. Vrsaljko straight at Ignashevich, and he hammers it clear. Russia working hard again. Comes back to Ignashevich. Boots it twice as far this time. That was a proper habit. He just belts it down the field, and Lovren has to head it back to the goalkeeper, Subasic, who I think he might be okay.
That bounced about 5 yards away from Subasic's goal. I can't believe how far he kicked that ball. Great defending from Lovren, though.
We've now played the 5 minutes that were due to be added on. There will be additionals to that, though, due to the injury to the goalkeeper. Is there to be a late winner? Is there to be? No, there's not in the 90, because the referee blows up bang on 95 minutes. Russia won, Croatia won. We are going to do another half hour in Sochi, and whoever England play on Wednesday in the semi-final, they will have extra mileage on the clock.
Yeah, you know what, still can't call this one. Possession-wise, Croatia have been great, but Russia have just done what they've done all competition. They've worked hard, they've done what they do well, put the ball into the box, and they just go all hell for leather. But you can't sit back and expect to win a game by defending from the majority of it.
It's too close to call, Kelly. Russia won, Croatia won. Thanks very much, Kelly. Well, the first thing to say is that Daniel Subasic, the goalkeeper, is fit enough to start this extra time. They had two masseuses working away on his flesh there. It was wobbling like jelly as the two of them were drilling in, massaging his hamstring, trying to keep it as pliable as it can be to get him, to patch him up, just get him back out there on the pitch. A goalkeeper who could be so important if this game goes to penalties, because he saved 3 in the last 16 when they beat Denmark. We're back underway. Russia back playing from left to right again, and it's put out for a corner on the right hand side for Russia, who immediately launched themselves on the attack. I just feel a little bit like England after the penalty shootout win against Colombia. Neither of these nations will be fearing the prospect of a shootout as much as they might have been, given that they both have just experienced their first World Cup penalty shootout wins in the last game. It's not quite the fear and the worry that it might have been. Obviously there's always an enormous amount of fear, but I don't think they'll be as petrified as they might be. Golovin is standing over this corner kick for Russia. Plays it in low trajectory. That was a really, really good delivery. Lovren wins a header. Modric controls in the penalty area, as Dion says, so relaxed, like he's playing with the kids in the back garden. Shuffles away, makes a bit of space, clears it up towards the halfway line. It is 1-1 here in Sochi between Russia and Croatia. We are into extra time at the World Cup quarterfinals.
You know what? They looked a little bit organised then, Croatia. Subasic shouted over to the manager, where's my players on the 6-yard line? They weren't sure whether to go zonal, they weren't sure whether to go man for man, and in the end they got away with that one. They weren't organised and ready for that corner.
So it's ball cleared away by Rakitic. Clumsy clearance though, straight up into the air, comes back to him from Mario Fernandes, launches it up the field, but Rebic isn't able to control, and Ignashevich, the Russian central defender, will collect on the edge of his penalty area, and Russia will build from deep. Cheryshev scored in the first half, put Russia in front. Brilliant goal to the top corner. Kramaric equalised with a well-timed header. In the second half of the 90 was Smolov just challenging on the edge of the penalty area. That goes down, but the referee doesn't give it a second glance. He waves play on. But the biggest thing that happened in the second half of the 90 was Croatia hitting the inside of the post. How Perisic didn't score, I've no idea.
You know what? Just a couple of millimetres, and that would have just bounced off the post and gone in. So yes, they've rode their luck, but it's been even Stevens in regards to chances, but they do look tired now. You don't want to run when you've not got the ball and you are this tired. You think, please win the ball back, somebody.
Brozovic, a bit dangerous there into the centre circle. Vida had Smolov bearing down on him, but Vida manages to get it away. All he's doing is returning possession to Russia, and Akinfeev, the goalkeeper, away to our left. So quick reminder of the teams. Akinfeev in goal for Russia, Mario Fernandes right back, Kudryshev is the left back, Ignashevich and Kuchepov the two central defenders. In midfield they've got Gazinski, Zobnin and Kuzev, and then Irokhin supporting Golovin, and Smolov is the main striker up front. Russia pump it long. Header one just in front of the penalty area by Brozovic. Russia have it with Mario Fernandes on the right hand side, but he's run it out of play. He was looking up, he was seeing what was on, and the ball skipped away from him for a Croatia throw.
Yeah, slightly ahead of himself there. Fernandes wanted to get the cross in, but he was thinking, right, who am I going to cross it to? But he took his mind off the job in hand. I'm not sure.
Another Croatia player down. It's Vrsaljko, the right back. Lovren is just hunched over him, and they're discussing the severity of this injury. It looks like Lovren is saying to him, just come on, it's pain, it's in your head, don't worry about it. He's saying, come on, let's get on. You don't want the physio to come on, because then you're going to have to leave the pitch. But Vrsaljko looks a bit concerned. Oh, he's going to have to go. He's rubbing his knee. Lovren is saying, no, hang on, are you sure? Are you sure? Lovren's waving no. Vrsaljko's saying, I'm off. Vrsaljko's twirling his arms. I think they're going to have to make a change.
Yes, he's just touching below his kneecap there, which is possibly the patella, maybe the patella tendon just below the kneecap. He's walking okay, but he's made the sign, that rolling sign with both of his hands. Now Luka Modric has gone over. Lovren's still trying to convince him to stay on.
It is, it's unusual this, isn't it? Lovren, and then he turns away with a shrug, and it's almost like he feels, you know, Vrsaljko, are you sure you're putting your body on the line here? Let's see, what did happen to Vrsaljko? He controlled the ball, there was no one around him, and he just grimaced as he passed it. Don't know.
Didn't see anything at all. I think he's going to try and...
They've not made the change yet. He's gone off the field and he's been worked on by the physios. For the moment, Croatia are playing with 10. Remember, they can make another change in extra time.
Couldn't see anything there at all, and it's a strange one because he didn't go down. Felt a bit of pain but didn't go down. 5
minutes played in extra time. Russia 1, Croatia 1. Here in Sochi, still warm temperatures even this late at night. It's gone 11 p.m. Dion's dinner reservation is in big jeopardy now as the ball is cleared by Lovren. Down the right-hand side, one back for the Russians. Kuchapov has it. Sends it to the near side. Mario Fernandes, the Brazilian-born right-back. Still plenty of hard running from his teammates, getting up into attacking positions. Khrushchev made a great run there. Ball is played towards him. He's challenged in the air by Pivaric. Croatia have it on the halfway line. This is Mandzukic. Rolls it back to Lovren. Still they're playing with 10. At the moment it's Brozovic who's dropped back into that right back position to cover, but that means they're a man down in the midfield. This is an opportunity for Russia. They're still working on Vrsaljko down there.
I actually think Mandzukic is struggling as well. He just passed that ball off there and he's limping as well. He's in the centre of the park, Mandzukic, and he's hobbling about.
It's got the feeling of survival of the fittest. Who's going to be able to keep 11 fit players on the pitch?
Yeah, exactly that. You know, he does a lot of hard work outside the box, away from where you'd expect him to be into centre forward positions. But he's at the moment right now he's playing like a holding midfield player.
Yeah. Well, he does a lot of running for Juventus, doesn't he? Mandzukic. They're going to make a change. Vrsaljko is done, so this will be their last change. If anyone else falls by the wayside, they won't be able to replace them. And it's the former Man City and Tottenham player, Vedran Choluka, now plays here in Russia with Lokomotiv Moscow. Has run down the pitch before kick-off, posing for photos with some of the Russia players that he knows well. He's been here 6-7 years now. He comes on, and that's it. They cannot make any more changes. So with a goalkeeper who's been nursing a hamstring problem, with Mandzukic limping away down there, they've now made the 4. That will be that. And we've only played 6 minutes of extra time.
I think that's what Lovren was possibly saying as well. Can you last for us? Can you give us another few minutes? And obviously not. Choluka's come on. Goes straight in at centre half.
Here is Luka Modric. Takes the ball, swivels away into space. Certainly has the pace of Kudryashov here. Gets right to the edge of the penalty area. Ignashevich, who you have to say has been a man mountain at the back. He's the man who scored the own goal, the unfortunate backheel volley into his own net against Spain. He's been brilliant tonight. Modric gives the ball away.
No. Is that Modric? It can't be Modric giving the ball away.
A Modric impersonator has come on the pitch, number 10 shirt, and it's clearly not the real one because he's given the ball away. Akinfeev clears, right-footed. Down the right-hand side, Mario Fernandes jumps in the air and beats Pivaric. And then Choluka has just come on, gets his first touch to nod it back to the goalkeeper, Subasic. What'll he be feeling? Experienced player, we know all about it for the Premier League. Still only 32, so he's not exactly an old man yet. But in March he came back from a year out with an Achilles tendon injury, so he's missed a lot of football over the last year, 18 months or so. Free kick to Croatia on the halfway line, which Mario Fernandes picks up the ball and runs away with it. And Rakitic didn't like that, and Brozovic didn't like that, but these are all the little sportsman-like tricks that come in late in the game. We saw the England players today completely, they had no idea they were the ones who were going on. Oh, it's me? I had just run over the far side of the pitch because I needed to stretch my legs. I wanted to check out I'm going off. Absolutely hilarious.
No, they don't do that. Walk a little bit further and waste a bit more time. No.
8.5 minutes played in extra time. The first half of extra time here in Sochi, where the Russian crowd, I think they don't know what to make of this now. They've gone through the ringer of emotions. The elation at going 1-0 up. The brilliant goal from Cheryshev in the first half. the sobering equaliser from Kramaric. Here's a cross by Prevaric into the penalty area, headed away by Gazinski. It's going to come back out to Prevaric on the left-hand side, and the Dynamo Kiev player rolls it back into Chorluka. Now Lovren. And at the moment, Vida's gone to right back, and Lovren's been joined by Chorluka in the middle. Oh, that's a terrible ball by Lovren, intercepted by Golovin. Chance for Russia. Here's Smolov, recovery by Lovren, but did he foul him? Smolov goes down in the box. The referee, I think, is okay with it. He's waving his arms. He says no penalty. That was an enormous chance for Russia.
Wow, how did Lovren get back so quickly? That's a really good recovery run. Wow, Smolov actually had a great chance there. Great strength from Lovren, but did he get away with it? We haven't seen a replay yet. Did he push him over?
Vida to Modric, who skips away from Zobnin, gives it back out to Vida. Here's the cross, and right from the arms of his own goalkeeper, Kuchipov kicks it out for a corner. There was a little bit of uncertainty at the back from Russia. We've not said that very often, but Kuchipov didn't want to take any chances. It's a corner to Croatia on the right-hand side.
Yeah, watching the replay, great defending from Lovren. More defending for Russia.
Almost into the 100th minute. Modric with a corner, headed down and in! Vida! The defender scores for Croatia. Modric with the corner. Vida's header, which bounced on the way through. I don't think there was a full back of the post, and Croatia lead for the first time in this quarter-final with 5 minutes remaining in the first half of extra time. It's Russia 1, Croatia 2. As things stand, England will play Croatia in the semi.
Another corner, bang on the money, right on the penalty spot. There he was. I couldn't believe it found the head. There were so many players in the box, but it hit one head only. It hit Vida's head in the right place at the right time, unmarked. Yeah, I'm watching the replay. It's a good header. Gets himself free. Smolov is actually in front of the keeper. May have blocked the keeper's view, but no, it's a clean header. What an important goal that's going to turn out to be.
So much happened in the blink of an eye in that penalty area. It was like a Renaissance painting. Wherever you looked, there was something happened. Ignashevich was barreled out of the way cleverly by Mandzukic. He took care of him. Vida got the header down. It was like the eye of a needle, the way it threaded between two Russians. Chorluka nearly got a touch of it in front of the goalkeeper, but somehow it eluded all of them. It crept inside the post. It puts Croatia in front.
Wow. Again, the quality of the ball coming in, the commitment of the Croatians with players getting numbers forward. There must have been 5 or even 6 black shirts in the box there, making sure that they got one of their heads on it. They did. They're in the lead now. Can they hold on to it though? That's the one.
Golovin has been taken off. Jagoyev has been brought on, the CSKA Moscow player. That's the 4th and final change for Russia, who've got to go for it now. 2-1 down, behind for the first time in this quarter-final. Chorluka heads the ball out of the Croatia penalty area, comes back to him from Rakitic, and now Prevaric will clear away left-footed up towards the halfway line. There was a certain element of fortune and good luck to the equaliser of Croatia, but, you know, the quality of the delivery from Modric, and you've got to say, for Vida, stretching there to accurately put it into the bottom corner, it's a fine goal.
You know what, just the last 5 or 6 minutes, Modric has had the ball, and Modric has just made a few darting runs. He seems like he's got a little bit more energy than the rest of the team, because he doesn't do too much squeezing and closing down, so he's still got energy, and he's making the difference just by breaking the lines and feeding people in. And the quality of his pass is always right, the weight, that's the difference so far.
There's been a yellow card for the man who scored the goal that has Croatia in front. Vida has been booked for a foul on Zobnin. The resultant free kick is 15 yards, maybe 20 yards inside the Russia half. Croatia brought all 11 men back behind the ball. Russia have sent everyone except the veteran Ignashevich forward. Here it is, played in, headed on, flicked on, but Irokin couldn't get a firm enough touch, and it goes out for a corner. Corner to Russia, no time to waste as they sprint to get into position to take it.
Yeah, we call that tin hats. Get your tin hats on, because the opponents are going to throw everything at you. Protect yourself.
Corner's going to be taken by Jagoyev, the man who's just come on. Here it is, right-footed, out-swinging header up into the air by Kuchapov, and they tried to resurrect it. It's going to be another corner. Corner again to Russia. I have to say they've responded well to going behind. They're throwing the kitchen sink at it now.
Yes, they are. They've got 2 players only, Croatia, on the 6-yard line. All the rest are going man for man. That means Russia have got 2 players over.
Love this. Absolutely love this. Cherchesov, the coach, is waving his arms in the air. He wants more noise from the crowd. Here's the corner, delivered in. Oh, it's flicked onto the front post, but over those at the back post. Rocket again, who's been close to a lot of headers, big tall midfielder, but it skimmed off the top of his head, and it just wouldn't fall. Zobnin was at the back post. It was too high for him.
Yeah, 3 good corners, 3 good, lots of defending from Croatia as well. I just believe that, you know what, with quality like that, it's hard to defend against sometimes. I can just actually see here Lovren's coming back to
take the goal kick because Subasic is worried about that hamstring. We've got 30 seconds remaining. Oh, Lovren slips as he takes that goal kick, but he still gets it away. 30 seconds remaining in the first half of extra time here at Sochi. They still have a quarter of an hour to play, Russia, to try and get back into it, but can they get the equaliser? Or Croatia going through to face England on Wednesday, and Gareth Southgate will be sitting, and I hope he's got a brandy or something in his hand, and he's watching Croatia having to put so many miles on the clock, and he sees the Croatian goalkeeper hobbling around unable to take goal kicks, and he says, come on Russia, make them work for it.
You know what, I believe you're right, I really do. He'll be thinking, right, we've got nothing massively to fear here, we've got a lot in our locker, they might have a lot in their locker, but they'll be shattered after this game.
Modric working hard deep in the midfield, up towards Brozovic. He's challenged by Zobnin. Ball goes out of play on the far side. Throw into Croatia, who try to run down the clock as much as they can now. Stanislav Cherchesov is still bellowing at everyone. He's shouting at the crowd. He's shouting at his backroom staff. He's shouting at the 4th official.
He's shouting at himself.
He's shouting at himself. Takes a huge swig out of a bottle of water. Goalkeeper in his playing days, Stanislav Cherchesov, the man entrusted to guide Russia through their own World Cup on home soil. Nobody expected they were going to get this far, but is this where the juggernaut comes to a halt, or have they got one last trick up their sleeves, the Russians? Mario Fernandes, the right back for Russia, up towards Kushchev. He's challenged roughly on the halfway line, but fair challenge by Pivaric as the referee. Modric peels away looking for space on the right hand side, collects the possession. Irokin tries to close him down. Lovren's now in a midfield role. He gives it out to the right hand side to Kovacic of Real Madrid. He's beaten to the ball. Russia will come again. There's a roar every time Russia get possession. We are into stoppage time, deep into stoppage time at the end of this first half of extra time. There's a glance at the watch by the referee. There's a few more seconds to play. Possession with Gazinski in the centre circle, and now Russia come over the halfway line on the right. They need to get on with it. There can only be seconds remaining here in this first half. Ball is flicked forward. That's a foul. Foul on Jagoyev. Late free kick for Russia in this first half of extra time. One last chance here.
Wow, this is it for them. This is it. Just get it into the danger area. Listen to that roar. Everybody's getting on their feet. Listen to these Russian fans.
After this, it'll be half-time and extra time. Here comes the delivery. Jagoyev sends it in. Goalkeeper comes and spills, and he hasn't got it. And the referee blows the whistle. Foul on the goalkeeper. Subasic hits the deck and stays there, and Croatia breathe a sigh of relief, a collective sigh of relief.
Yeah, he was always going to get that. There's a hand in there. There is a hand in. He had it with 2 hands, and there was a big sort of elbow there that hits him on the arm. He loses the ball, but he stayed down. Waste as much time as possible.
So there we go, half-time and extra time. It's Croatia who hold the advantage. Russia 1, Croatia 2, but not over yet. Here we go then. It's do or die for Russia. One last throw at the dice on home soil to see if they can make the semis. As things stand, they're going out, and it would be Croatia to play England. They've got an enormous 15 minutes. In terms of modern Russian football, since they broke away the old Soviet Union, this is the biggest game in the footballing history of Russia as a country in its own right. And do they have it in them to produce an equaliser, and who knows, maybe even a penalty shootout? The one goal between them, Vida's goal, it was a soft one to concede from a Russian point of view, but it could be enough to put Croatia into the semis.
Yeah, they just have to give everything now. This is it, 15 minutes now, what have you got? Don't get picked off by Croatia though. Like I've said before, if you are going to squeeze, like I'm just watching here, squeezing numbers.
Here is Kovacic trying to control it on the edge of the Russia penalty area, but it veers away from him and out for a throw into Russia right full-back position. Quicker the teams again. Akinfeev is the Russia goalkeeper. Mario Fernandez, Ignashevich, Kuchepov and Kudryashov is the left-back. In midfield, Zobnin, Kujayev, Gazinski, Irokin, Zagoyev and Smolev is how they line up in attack. And for Croatia, much change in their defence. Subasic is the goalkeeper. Chorluka has come in to play centre-back with Lovren. Vida, who scored the goal that is Croatia in front, he's moved to right-back. Pivaric, the substitute, came on as a left-back. And then Rakitic, Modric, Brozovic in the midfield. Kovacic with Rebic and Mandzukic up front. And Mandzukic and Rakitic, by the way, both on yellow cards. If they were to pick up a booking in this second half of extra time, they would miss the semi-final against England. Two very important players.
Yeah, and I think two players that have to stay on, including this man as well.
Wow. Modric has made a tackle. Ball skidded miles away. He ran after it. He got there just out of the corner flag. He plays in the penalty area, and then he's absolutely disgusted with Rebic that he didn't sprint onto it to get to it. What an engine Luka Modric has.
He's just non-stop, and they all look to him when he's got the ball. They look to him to create something. When he's not creating, he's working back.
Kudryashov is out of position here. Zobnin in to try and cover for him, and he's elbowed out of the way by Rebic. And that's a free kick to Russia, which they take quickly. And Russia are going to take everything quickly now. Trailing 2-1, second half of extra time. Croatia will try and slow it down. Cherchesov down below as the Russia coach. He's been instructed to get back into his technical area by the fourth official from Zambia. Cherchesov losing the run of himself there, nearly wandering onto the pitch. Mario Fernandez cuts in off the right wing. It's been a World Cup in which almost every team gets a late chance. I mean, even today Sweden had a couple of late chances, didn't they? Everyone always gets a chance. Will Russia get the chance? And more importantly, will they take it? As Kudryashov crosses from the left-hand side. Decent header by Pivaric. He was under pressure there. He gets it a full 10 yards outside the penalty area. Mandzukic holds it up, plays a lovely 1-2 with Rakitic. Now that oozed class. And then Mandzukic is tripped by Gazinski, and that'll be a yellow card to Gazinski. And he is one of those who is already carrying a yellow. So if Russia to turn this around, if they're to go through, Yuri Gazinski would be suspended from the semi-final against England.
He's just one of the backbone, Mandzukic. He's just worked and worked. He's not playing in his favourite position. He wants to be a centre forward. He wants to score goals. He's playing out of position today, and he's just worked so hard. Modric is the catalyst. Rakitic is playing wherever he's told to play. He's been playing most of the game in front of his back too, but they're not moaning. They're getting on with it, and they're getting the job done at the moment.
So the ball is played forward for Croatia. Battling after it was Kovacic, and he's gone in strong in the air there. And I think it's a clash of heads. Certainly both players are down injured. Maybe his hip into the head of the Russian left-back, Kudryashov, who's down. He's got his hands on his forehead. Oh, it's his shoulder. The shoulder of Kovacic goes right into the forehead of Kudryashov, and he's down, and he's going to need some treatment. Oh, I tell you what, he bounced back up again. He says, don't worry about me, I made a tough stuff. Wow.
Well done. Well, that's what we like to see. Listen, can you clip that up for us and send it to Neymar? Would you please?
The exact opposite. The noise continues from the Russian supporters. Is there to be a last hurrah, or is this where the tale ends tonight here in Sochi on the south coast away from Moscow against a Croatia team who got to the semis in 1998, lost to the eventual winners France, so they go back to the semi-finals. Modric swings in the free kick, headed away by Kuchepov. Back into the mix by Rakitic. It's a clever ball to the edge of the penalty area. Mandzukic steadies himself, plays it in, but it's straight at the goalkeeper, and Akinfeev holds on to it. They've played 5 minutes in the second half of extra time.
Sorry, Conor. That was Lovren there trying to curl in the top corner, and within about 4 or 5 seconds, he's made it back to the right side centre half position. That's how hard Croatia are working now.
Akinfeev sends it straight down the middle. Smolov tries to battle for it, easily beaten in the air though by Chorluka. Kudryashov down the left channel now comes Zobnin. Made a good run, trying to help it onto Zagoyev. It was clipped by a defender on the way through though. It hit Brozovic. It's a corner to Russia on the left-hand side. They still trail 2-1.
Yes, here come the big lads. Here comes Kutapov and Ignashevich into the box. This will be an in-swinger. It's got to be a good one.
The noise here is deafening. I hope this atmosphere is coming across on your radios as Zagoyev prepares to take the corner. Here it is. In-swinging. Goalkeeper comes. Punches. Chance. Kuzayev. Saved by the goalkeeper. Subasic managed to get his angles right. He's way off his goal line. It was a good shot back in by Kuzayev, but saved by Subasic.
What a strike. But the keeper just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Shuffles across his box and it hits him right in the midriff. Really good keeping that. Holding on to the ball as well. No spillage there.
Yeah, he did well to hold it. There was a venom on the shot. Kuzayev would hardly have wanted to hit that any sweeter. Inch or two either side. It might well have been in for an equaliser. Story of the game. Russia had the lead first. Croatia equalised 1-1. Then Croatia, through Vida, took the lead in the first half of extra time. 2-1 the Croatians lead.
And they've still got the ball in the corner here. Oh, wow.
Ivanic holding on to it. Mario Fernandez battling. Last touch comes off him. Throw into Croatia. They take their time. They frustrate the Russians.
They're doing well. They're doing that well, Croatia. Making sure they keep hold of the ball. They're not rushing it. Playing short passes. Pretending to go long with a long throw, but they're keeping it short. Making Russia work.
Short throw by Prevaric to Mandzukic, who loses it immediately. Akinfeev pumps it long. Lovren wins the header in central defence for Croatia. Modric flicks it on for himself, but then he can't get on to collect. Russia fighting like dogs down there in the middle of the midfield, not giving up anything. They get possession. Zobnin to the near side. Kudryashov, good ball. Oh, really good ball. Smolov into the penalty area, left hand side. Sells it to Vida, clips it. Goalkeeper fingertips it away, and so importantly, Irokin was lurking at the back post, fingertipped by Subasic, and that was enough to get it away.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that hamstring is fine, because you cannot leap like that if you've got a dodgy hamstring. So Subasic is okay.
112 minutes, almost 113 minutes on the clock. Time running out for Russia. Yellow card has been shown. Prevaric, I think, as the ball was played forward, he's handled it intentionally. He is so lucky. He's half a metre outside the penalty area. That could have been handball penalty.
We've just the replay, and that ball sort of hits him just on his where your bicep is and your elbow just meet, and then he starts looking at the referee and tapping his shoulder. You can't get away with it. We can see what you're doing, young man. This is a great area now for Russia to put this is right on the corner of the 18-yard line on the box, down the right hand side. I think it's going to be a right footer, and he's stepping back with this like he's going to shoot.
He does. He looks like he's going to take the leather off the ball. Alan Zagoyev, who's taken all the set pieces since coming on as a substitute. Russian supporters all over the stadium on their feet. Nobody sitting down. Can't take your eye off this. 6 minutes of extra time to go. Russia, as things stand, going out of the World Cup. But can they have a hurrah here? Can they drag themselves back into it? Zagoyev waits. Busy penalty area. Short run up. He thinks it's too short. He goes back. Here he comes. He's got to get this right. Zagoyev clips it in. Headed by Mario Fernandez. 2-2. The Russian bench spill onto the pitch. Russia refuse to crumble. They refuse to bow out. Mario Fernandez has never scored an international goal before. He'll never score a more important one than that. Wow, 2-2.
Oh my word, what a ball in, what a header by Fernandez. That is what you call guts. They didn't take a step back, they took a step forward, they believed, and look what that belief's done for them. Oh my word. But I've got to say one thing, Mr. Cherchesov hasn't taken his hands out of his pocket once. He's just moping along that technical area, cool as you like, as if to say, I knew we could do it.
Wow! Croatia, what do they do now? Pegged back to 2-2, 5 minutes of extra time remaining. Russia refused to bow down. What a celebration as well. Mario Fernandez, retro style, he set off hurtling over the advertising boards, nearly jumping into the crowd. 2-2, the Russian fans, they're going to stay on their feet now. Nobody's getting back on their seats.
This is it. The volume has gone to the crescendo level, and I think they'll keep it that way as well, Connor, because everybody's stood up now. Flags and all the scarves back above their head. Look at these lot there. Look at the Russian players. They are sprinting, they are squeezing, they're doing everything.
What a World Cup. You never know when it's done. Games are never over. There can so often be a late twist in the tail. Russia were heading out as host nation of the quarterfinals, and a right back born in Brazil has headed it to make it 2-2, his first ever international goal. And who knows, heaven knows what's going to happen now.
Oh dear, I need to take a breath. That's just an amazing finish to a game. Is it finished though? Here come Croatia again. Have we seen all the goals?
Luka Modric, Gareth Southgate takes another sip of his brandy. Go on, work yourselves into the ground. Pick up a few niggles. No chance of Croatia being able to take the foot off the gas late on here. 2-2. Modric turns, shoots way outside the penalty area. Always rising, and it flies into the crowd behind the goal away to our right-hand side. It's Russia 2, Croatia 2. Incredible.
Just unbelievable stuff. You've got to say fair play to Russia. You really have. They've been organised. Croatia have been the better footballing side, but Russia just don't know when they are beaten. And at this moment in time, they're not beaten. They're still in this game just through sheer determination. And listen to us. We are Russia. We're not taking a step back.
Russia, who've already knocked out Spain. They've now got Croatia in their sights. 2.5 minutes of extra time remaining. Is it going to go to penalties again? Akinfeev, the hero against Spain. Will he get the chance to be the hero again? Subasic, the hero against Denmark. Look at the coach again. Cherchesov is barreling his hands up and down in the air, and the crowd respond. Of course they do. It really is. It's a manic atmosphere. Here we are right by the Black Sea in Sochi. So many Russians who've travelled from all over this land. I can't believe these are local people who live in Sochi. They've travelled from all over to be here. Zobnin in the midfield. The clock ticks on. 2 minutes now remaining. Ignashevich midway inside the Russia half. I don't think either of them are giving up. They're not going to settle for penalties. They feel it can be won. Russia attack down the left. Irokin controls. He's managed to drag Lovren out of position. He needs some support here. Kudrashov, good run to get there. Great ball back to Irokin. Now to the edge of the penalty area. Zobnin shoots! Saved by Subasic. It was on target. It was low. The goalkeeper did well.
Wow, what a strike from Zobnin. He was 22 yards out. He's thinking, listen, if you're not going to close me down, I'm going to have a strike at this. Subasic was there yet again. Wow. Loving this game.
We're seeing some close-up images on our screen. Russian supporters. There's a young man, his eyeballs nearly popped out of his head there as the shot came in and was saved by the Croatia goalkeeper. 2-2. This is 5 Live for the BBC. We are also across Africa on BBC World Service tonight. What a game we brought you. Another 4 goals in this crazy World Cup. We know the lineup for 3 of the semi-finalists, but we still don't know if it's Russia or Croatia. Croatia, who thought they were there. But back to 2-2. Can Croatia get the lead again? Modric plays it forward. Backheeled up into the air by Kovacic, but backheeled out of play on the far side. Off a deflection from a Russian. Throw into Croatia. They remain on the attack. There are 30 seconds of extra time to go. Is somebody going to be a David Platt and prevent this from going to penalties?
You know what? This has got to go to penalties. No team deserves to lose now. Surely not on this extra time. They have given everything.
Dion Dublin's dinner reservation is in disarray, which is quite good alliteration, which I hadn't planned. Here is Zobnin, up into the centre circle. Is there a last chance for Russia? Here they go, played into the penalty area by Kaczynski, but headed away by Chorluka. They've not fully cleared it. Russian players skirmishing around the edge of the D, and Kovacic will break away. 1 minute being added on for additional time at the end of this extra time. And Croatia have possession, and Marcelo Brozovic, he's got running in his legs, flicks it towards the edge of the penalty area. Rebic back towards Brozovic, who just couldn't stretch and get there, and Akinfeev was out to say, Mandzukic is done, he's out, he's on the ground, he's nothing left to give. Russia plough on. Both teams going for it late in the game. Clumsy challenge by Zobnin. on Lovren, and the referee blows the final whistle. We will, has he? Hang on, has he? He's blown a big long whistle. Is it the final one? I'm not sure. It's not. It's just a big long whistle to tell them get on with it.
Yes.
Mandzukic still on the ground. Croatia playing effectively with 10 men. Will this affect his ability to take a penalty? And perhaps more significantly, should Croatia go through, is Mandzukic injured because he's been struggling for all of extra time?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. Probably got a bit of a niggle, but he wants this game finished.
So many subplots here with England awaiting in the semi-final. What a World Cup it's been, and we're going to get another penalty shootout because Sandro Ricci, the referee from Brazil, blows the whistle. I mean, you've got to take your hat off to Russia, Dion. They looked down and out. They somehow mustered the goal from the right back, and they were right back in it.
Yeah, listen, you've got to tip your hat to them. The quality is all Croatian. But the way they just stayed and went toe-to-toe with Croatia every time they got a set piece, it went into the danger area. The goal that got them back into it, what a header, what a ball, 2-2, penalties.
I don't know, Kelly, I don't know how long I'm going to live in my life, but I'm so upset because all future World Cups are going to be terrible compared to this. We're always going to say, yeah, it's not as good as 2018 though, is it? What a World Cup, what a game, and it ain't over yet. They are being put through the ringer again. Both these teams went to penalties in the last 16. And the first man up for Russia is Fedor Smolov. He has made the long, lonely walk from the centre circle to the edge of the penalty area. And there is one very important thing missing, Dion Dublin. We've got the globe watching. We've got a goalkeeper and a striker. We don't have a football.
Yes, unfortunately that does play a bit of a big part in the penalty shootout, and the referee has he's made a ball up here. Here we go. Here we go.
We've got that very important requirement. Smolov kisses the ball, places it gently, takes 7 or 8 steps backwards. Subasic is in, messing with the net. The goalkeeper, who needed a lot of treatment between the end of 90 minutes and extra time on a hamstring problem, but he's bouncing up and down now like a spring chicken. Here he comes, Smolov, first penalty of the shootout. Oh, it's saved! It's saved! He tried to dink it straight down the middle, and it's saved by Subasic. Smolov misses.
Why would you try to take... I don't get that one bit. I'm watching the replay from behind Smolov. Now, when you're trying to dink the ball in the back of the net with no pace at all, you put it down the middle. He doesn't. Dink to the side. He tries to dink it to the side, gets it all wrong, and you know what, when you miss them, they look terrible, and that looked terrible.
So immediately, Russia on the back foot as Marcelo Brozovic steps forward for Croatia. 3 times Subasic saved penalties in the last 16. He's already saved one here. Brozovic, right-footed, scores to the top corner. That's how you take a penalty. Advantage Croatia. They lead 1-0 in the penalty shootout.
Yeah, Brozovic knew exactly what he was going to do. He knew where he was going to put it. Opened up the foot there. Puts it to the keeper's left, his right. A little bit of pace, lots of direction. Keeper had no chance. That's how you do it.
Next up for Russia, with so much pressure on him now, Alan Zagoyev. It was he who floated in the free kick late in extra time to find the head of Mario Fernandez for the equaliser 2-2 that has led us to this shootout. Zagoyev has taken a long run-up. The goalkeeper is bouncing all over the place. On the goal line, Zagoyev comes and scores, puts the keeper the wrong way. Goalkeeper goes to his right, ball nestles into the other bottom corner. Relief for Zagoyev. It's 1-1, but Russia have taken a kick extra.
Yeah, Zagoyev there. Just you know what? When you take a side-footed penalty, you've got to put it as close to the post as you possibly can. Give the keeper no chance. Zagoyev there, just winding his arms up like a windmill, as if to say to the fans, come on, give us a bit more support. We're nearly there.
So, Kovacic, Mateo Kovacic of Real Madrid, number 8 on his back, settles the ball on the spot, up against Akinfeev. Here he comes, right-footed, saved! Akinfeev to his left-hand side, pushes it around the post. They've both taken 2 penalties. They've both missed one. It is even Steven in Sochi in the penalty shootout.
Akinfeev, what a save! The ball's just sneaking in the corner, and he tips it round the post. He gets it absolutely right. Guesses right. Gets the push round the corner right. Two good saves so far.
So Akinfeev has got Smolov out of jail. It's all level. That first miss doesn't matter anymore. We're back to where we started. Mario Fernandes, the man whose header, his first ever international goal, made it 2-2. Here comes his penalty. It's wide! He's put it wide!
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Russia have taken 3 penalties. They have only scored 1.
Oh, Fernandes, you can't take a penalty like that. He's all wrong. He just didn't look comfortable at all. He's tried to strike the ball with his standing foot in the air, and if you do that, you do lose a lot of control. If you get it right, it looks great. If you get it wrong, it looks exactly like that. And now Croatia have their main man stepping up to the penalty spot.
Luka Modric, who has scored a penalty, who has also missed a penalty at this World Cup, and he very slowly, very deliberately dribbles the ball up to the spot, places it, stamps on the ground where he's going to be anchoring his left foot, and then walks away. Akinfeev stands motionless. Here comes Modric, right-footed, saved! Oh, but in off the post, that's remarkable! It's saved onto the post, I think even onto the crossbar, and in!
That is
fractions.
Unbelievable, what a save, down to his right. He actually pushed it onto the post, he gets a good hand on it. He pushes it onto the post, it looks like it's going to go out, hits the bar, but it hits the underside of the bar and goes in the far side of the goal.
2-1. With 2 penalties to go, unless it goes into sudden death. It's a time when you need an old campaigner, an old cool head. Sergei Ignashevich steps forward. Russia have only scored 1 out of 3 so far. This time the goalkeeper doesn't move. Ignashevich puts the keeper the wrong way. No messing about. 2-2, but Russia have taken 1 more.
Yeah, that's what you call a penalty with the eyes. He looked to put it one way, and then he changes his mind, changes his body language, and he puts it to the opposite side of the goal. Good penalty. Confident penalty from the old stager.
Up steps Vida. Vida, who scored in the regular game. At the time it put Croatia 2-1 in front. He now comes up to take this penalty. Croatia, who have scored 2 out of 3 so far. Ignashevich pounces. Here comes the delivery. Puts the keeper the wrong way. Vida scores. And they're close. They're very, very close. I think some of the Croatia players thought that was it and started to run forward.
Yes, they did.
It's not over yet.
No, they didn't.
But it's 1 kick away potentially.
They were all in a line with their arms over each other's shoulders, and they burst that line. They started to run out the centre circle, and then they thought, oh, no, we need to wait for this penalty first.
So Russia need to score. This is their 5th penalty. They've only scored 2 of them. Croatia have already scored 3, so this will be it. If it doesn't go in, Khrushchev puts the keeper the wrong way, into the bottom left. It ain't over yet for the Russians.
Khrushchev, that's cool as you like, waited one of those penalties which I think's possibly the hardest kind of penalty. You look, you wait, the keeper makes a move, you put the ball the opposite side. Khrushchev, what a penalty.
But if Croatia score this one, they win and they go through to play England in the semi-final on Wednesday, and they've got a big name player stepping forward, Ivan Rakitic of Barcelona, 15 international goals, but he missed a penalty in the quarter-final of Euro 2008 in a penalty shootout. Will that be in the back of his mind now? Rakitic stands motionless, hands down by his side. This to put them through, and he does! He puts the keeper the wrong way. Croatia celebrate. They go to the semi-finals to play England. Russia, who gave it everything, are out, and this stadium in Sochi is absolutely stunned. The Russian fans cannot believe it. Croatia have been put through the ringer. They have put a lot of extra miles on the clock tonight. We will find out in due course if that is a benefit to Gareth Southgate. But all the way through to the penalty shootout, and Ivan Rakitic buries a few demons of Euro 2008. He scores in the shootout this time, and Croatia have won in Sochi.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody really deserved to lose tonight. They both really did put their bodies on the line. The quality of Croatia was just that little bit better, but the quality doesn't matter when it comes to penalty shootouts. It's all about that little bit of luck and having a keeper that's really, really in form. Croatia came out on top. I do feel for the Russians, I really do.
I don't know how far many people thought Russia were going to get in this tournament, but who saw them getting to a penalty shootout in the quarterfinals? Their players are disconsolate. So many of the supporters are just standing motionless in disbelief. Croatia have won the penalty shootout 4-3 after a dramatic comeback from the Russians to make it 2-2 in extra time, to force that penalty shootout, and even with Akinfeev, the Russian goalkeeper, pulling out a heroic save, it's not been enough this time. Russia are out of their World Cup, and we now know exactly what stands between Gareth Southgate's team and the World Cup final. It will be Croatia on Wednesday. What a game here, though.